Hello everyone, welcome to Redmen TV. My name's Dan Clubb and I'm here to guide you through and watch along with you as AC Milan take on Inter Milan in the Champions League final second leg. The scoreline, of course, is 2-0 to Inter after the first leg. It was a bit of a 25-minute blitz from Inter Milan, and obviously this is the reverse fixture. They're in the same stadium. Inter Milan have got more fans. Who knows how it works over there, but they're in the same stadium anyway. But this time, a different team's at home, even though they're both still at home. They're both still playing the same colours. Yeah, we'll work it out as we go along. Yeah, please feel free to comment through the night. We will, of course, be talking about the football match and maybe a little bit about Real Madrid, Man City tomorrow as well. But moreover, and more importantly, we will be talking about Liverpool Football Club, of course. I've got some interesting stories from the day to talk about as we go. Yeah, please feel free to interact with me in the chat. I will be bringing comments up as we go along. Nigel is our first commenter. Nigel, thank you very much for getting involved, mate. Thank you. A great job. I mean, I've only just started. Let's hope I can continue on that pattern. That vein will be very nice. And Kevin Powell also says hello. Yeah, cool. Hi, guys. How are we doing? Yeah, Nigel, hopefully City won't win. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Anyway, yeah, we will be talking about lots of Liverpool stories, like I say. Some of them transfer related. Definitely one Roberto Firmino related, of course, because last night was a night, wasn't it? We will talk a little bit more detail about last night and just how boss a win it was. Obviously, a lot of you would have heard the podcast earlier on today. Some of you would have heard my views on the game last night as well, but we'll have a little chat about that. And also, I want to talk about the top four and the state of play as things stand, because I think it's fair to say it's heating up. Liverpool, as ever, are in the conversations that matter at the end of a football season. We were never likely just to peter out, were we, in our season, be done by sort of the start of April. That's not the way Liverpool Football Club do things. So, yeah, we'll have a chat about the top four, what could happen between now and the end of the season regarding Newcastle and Manchester United, of course. Also, we'll have a nice old chat about transfers in the summer coming up, because that's my favourite topic. Aside from Liverpool Football Club as a whole entity, transfers are very much my favourite topic. But before we do all of that, because I'm going to save all that content, all that good stuff for when the actual footy's going on, because the game could be boring, quite frankly. Who knows? I will just allude to what is going on in the football match, though. So, like I said earlier, Inter Milan 2-0 up from the first leg. So, not really delicately poised. Inter Milan were by far the better team, and they actually probably could have killed the game off fully, I'd say, from that first leg. But Edin Dzeko and Henrik Mkhitaryan were the goal scorers. I mean, what year is it again? It is 2023, isn't it? Yeah, it definitely is. Anyway, yeah, so interesting state of play. Inter then went and beat Sassuolo on the weekend 4-2, I think, whilst AC Milan were getting beat 2-0 to, I want to say Spezia. I'm going to say Spezia because that sounds more Italian. And after that match, AC Milan also, the players held a meeting pitchside, a conference with their ultras. So, yeah, that was a thing that happened. The manager and the entire squad basically stood face-to-face with some of their most vociferous fans and had a conversation about what was going wrong. I mean, they're in the Champions League semi-final. Don't really know what more they want, to be honest with you. And, of course, I will be on Nicolo Barea watch and Divock Origi. Yeah, and we will be finding out whether Nico Barea actually does wear Curtis Jones pyjamas. Before we go to a very quick ad break, before the action gets underway, and we can talk all things Liverpool and, of course, all things Champions League semi-final. I'll bring up just a couple more comments. Axel Mans, which is a boss name. That is such a name. That's a man. That's a proper name, like a genuine name. His money is on Inter going through, although hopefully it's more exciting than last week. I mean, yeah, the first 20 minutes was exciting last week, wasn't it? I mean, Inter Milan just flew out the blocks. Edin Dzeko with that very impressive left-footed finish, kind of round his man, just striking it sweetly first time into the corner off a corner. I mean, yeah, I suppose from Inter perspective, last week was just about as exciting enough, possibly putting one foot into a Champions League final to face, hopefully, Real Madrid. Let's see. And Spaceman 429, I think, 420, sorry, echoes my Real versus Inter final hopes. Yeah, let's hope. And I want to bring this up from Dean Roach as well before we head to that very quick break. Who thinks Chelsea will take points off either Newcastle or Manchester United? I don't know if I think they will. but I certainly hope they will. And the fact that Chelsea have such a big say in this top four race is a fascinating little twist, I suppose, to an end of a season that Chelsea would probably rather forget. But from our point of view, they could do us a huge favour, let's be honest. Anyway, more of that good stuff and indeed more chat about Liverpool after the break and when the actual Champions League semi-final gets underway. But until then, I'll see you in about 50 seconds, something like that.
What's happening? We have got our huge, our mega, our extravagant end of season party coming up and available for ticket sale right now. Do you like what we do on the podcast, on the shows, on the match days, on the watch-alongs? Then come and see us live and in the flesh with live music by the full band of the Ragamuffins as well. Yes, the Reds have been in a tricky season, shall we say, the very least. But you know what? Let's see the season out in style with a Redmen TV party for the ages. We're going to be at Hotel Anfield on the 19th of May. That is the Friday night. Get your babysitters booked and come and party with us to drown the season's sorrows or celebrate a successful end. Whichever way it goes, we will be there with you. Let's have a laugh. Tickets on sale right now. The link will be in the description. I hope to see you there.
Hey everyone, yeah, that is our live show that's going to be happening on this Friday night at Hotel Anfield. All the amazing stuff that Paul just explained to you, plus a little bit more, to be honest. As the days and hours approach and get ever closer, we are continuing to plan that show. We did a little bit of that today and it's going to be special. It really is. So if you're anywhere near the Liverpool area, if you drive past road signs that say you are near Liverpool, make sure you get yourself to Hotel Anfield on Friday night. Tickets can be found in all the ticket places, but head to our socials because they've got links all over them. There's probably a link somewhere on the YouTube as well. Forgive me for not knowing the exact details on that, but definitely head to the socials because I do know the details on that. There's a story right now, which I have done. There's a link on there, and our Twitter pinned tweet is also have a link for the ticket. So get there, get involved. While I tell you that the players are out, they are shaking hands at the San Siro. Gotta say, it's particularly picturesque, and the Champions League anthem, although I can't hear it right now, I can imagine went off inside the San Siro because they absolutely love all that in Italy, all the theatre, all the drama. The teams are getting read out or announced, if you like. I'm not sure who's on commentary. I imagine it's Steve McManaman. Yeah, some interesting names there. Bastoni, very good centre-half. And Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez playing up top for Inter Milan. And obviously the aforementioned Nicolo Barella as well. Denzel Dumfries, I'm not going to go through the entire side because it's just gone off the screen for one. You can see it on the bottom. You don't need me to tell you anyway. You don't need me to tell you. John Sommers has come in with a comment, which I'm going to bring up. There's another... I wanted to say... Sorry, I've just got rid of the one I wanted to comment. Someone's watching this with exams on in the background or vice versa. Good work. I rate that. John Sommers says, hi Dan, would take any player from AC Milan. I like Tonali. What is your opinion? Yeah, Tonali's probably the one, to be honest. I mean, Divock Origi actually is probably the actual one, just for vibes. The AC Milan team's getting read out right now. Olivier Giroud. We've got Giroud and Dzeko playing in the Champions League semi-final against each other. This world's mad sometimes. Yeah, Fikayo Tomori obviously as well, starting for AC. But yeah, I agree with you, John, to the point I think Sandro Tonali would be the chosen one. Not only is he in midfield, and Rafael Leao's just come on the screen as well. I should mention him. He's very exciting. Kind of a bit of an X-Factor type player in many senses. You never quite know what's going to happen with him next, and that can be a good or bad thing, but he's very good, and he's had a very impressive season. I think he's actually recently signed a new contract with AC, so you're not getting him away from Milan anytime soon. But yeah, I do still believe that Tonali, if we were to go and sign one, would be the one. Central midfielder, still very young, very impressive footballer, and yeah, the game is about to kick off. So yeah, I will talk a little bit of the football, obviously, because that's why I'm here. But I also want to talk about the Reds because last night was boss, wasn't it, quite frankly? And I know there's some chat already about top four permutations and stuff. I've just seen an interesting comment, sorry, from Estam Ulasan. Which Milan club do you think has the harder away day? I assume that's a joke because they play in the same stadium. No? Anyway, the football's underway. There's a match going on and an early throw into Inter Milan. Yeah, anyway, last night. Yeah, boss. I thought Liverpool were actually boss. Like, spoke about it a lot, obviously, on various shows and what have you. And not vintage away performance because we weren't sort of dominant from the off. But what we did do is we rode the early storm. That's a haircut, that, by the way. Who's that hair? Who was that? That's a terrible haircut. Someone had pink hair. Yeah, we rode an early storm from Leicester, managed to sort of quieten the crowd. And before we actually got into the lead, I think we sort of pinned them in and they just couldn't get out. They couldn't get out of their own half. They had 11 men behind the ball, including Jamie Vardy, and we were really impressive. So it is a joke. Yeah, Estam Ul-Hassan comes back and tells me, confirmed it is a joke. I thought so. It's hard to get context without facial expressions and sort of tone of voice. So I apologise for not getting it first time, but I'm sure you understand. I've got another comment to bring you. Evening, Symes. Evening to you too. Would you take Barea as one of our midfield signings in the summer? Yeah, I would. For all my jokes about him idolising Curtis Jones, yeah, Nicola Barella is, out of all the players linked so far, like your Mason Mount, your Alexis McAllisters, Ryan Gravenberch, so on and so forth, all brilliant players, like in their own right. Some of them have Premier League experience, which stands them in higher stead than Barea, you'd probably say. I know Gravenberch doesn't fit into that category. Theo Hernandez, so I know I'm going off topic, but Theo Hernandez, yeah, it is, yeah. That is, I only saw a glimpse when I looked up at that hair. Good Lord, that's a haircut. Cheers, by the way, David. Appreciate that. One of our club legends there, helping me out on identifying just exactly who that was. I do wear glasses, but I'm not going to wear them right now. Maybe at times I'll need to. Where was I? Yeah, Barea, wonderful player. Love watching him play. Technician. Yeah, incredible footballer. And I'd probably take him over the likes of Mount, McAllister, etc., if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, brilliant. But for what he'd cost, I'm not sure. Inter Milan's a funny one because it feels like every summer they need to have a fire sale and they're struggling financially, etc. And yet, I mean, I know they sold Lukaku a while ago for big money to Chelsea. Obviously, ends up going back there on loan. As a cross comes in for Inter. Oh, it could be. Oh, big save. I mean, I think the offside flag might have gone up because no one's really bothered and the keeper's put the ball down for a free kick. But Dzeko nearly did end the game as a contest there. It was nearly 3-0 on aggregate and it was nearly game over. And Inzaghi's going mad. They're looking at the ref. I'm not quite sure why. But Dzeko, big volley. And I suppose comfortably saved in the end. They're showing it again. And maybe he blew for a foul, did he? Yeah, he can't. Was it Sonali kind of dived and Zaggy's trying to sort of whip up the crowd and stuff? Yeah, anyway, still 0-0. Dzeko had a volley, relatively well saved. Yeah, Barea. Yeah, I would. Absolutely, I would. I want to talk about some potential signings as well because there's a story earlier on today. LFC for Life asked, is Leao playing? He is playing. He did miss the first leg. Yeah, and I know he is probably, like I said earlier, the X factor for AC Milan. If they are going to get back into this game, especially without Divock Origi on the pitch, which is blasphemy in itself, they probably do need Leao to sort of step up and be counted here. That Messias Jr. there, who me and Aaron both remarked at the age of 32 should probably drop the junior tag. Maybe Messias Senior would be more appropriate. Free kick to AC Milan. Yeah. Someone said there, what was that? Jordan Rossiter. I'd love Barea in the team. Seems unlikely. Yeah, I agree. It seems unlikely. And as I was saying before, I got sidetracked for the 15th time already in this show. Inter Milan always seems to be... Wow! Sorry, it was my man Theo with the pink, terrible hair. Just a long-range, left-footed pile drive. Must be 30-odd yards out. Absolutely got a foot like a traction engine, but it fires over. Olivier Giroud appreciates the effort, and that was close. Stefano Pioli, the AC manager, shouting his instructions on. And it's a goal kick. Yeah, Jordan Ross. Is that there? Jordan Ross, is it? If so, hi, Jordan. Yeah, I'd be intrigued if it was. Former Liverpool midfielder, of course, as you are, or not, as the case may be. Yeah, I think it does seem unlikely to get Barea. I just don't think he's going to leave Italy, to be honest with you. I might be wholly wrong on that, and he could end up anywhere, including Liverpool, of course, but doesn't seem like the type of player that would leave, certainly not at the moment. And yeah, I think Inter Milan would demand a lot of money to sell him. He probably is their prize asset, I'd say, because a lot of their other prize assets are either on loan, Lukaku, or old, Dzeko, essentially. So, yeah, I think they demand a lot of money. But like I say, who knows with Inter Milan, because every summer they seem to, we need to sell 4 or 5 players because we're in trouble, and then they don't sell 4 or 5 players. Lautaro Martinez was one of them for a long time. Liverpool linked with him for a while, of course. But yeah. Oh, and howdy, it's David, another club legend. Mate says, Bavea is not coming to England. He's not going to leave Italy. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one. Steve Ryder, another one of our club absolute legends. Proper legend. The Mac, and I like the fact we've gone with just the Mac for Alexis McAllister. We've nicknamed him already. We haven't even signed him. I've nicknamed him already. He won Champions League football with Liverpool. He going all out on Thursday to beat Newcastle. I didn't know where that was going to go when I started reading it. But yeah, I hope you're right. And I want to talk about the permutations of top 4 in a little moment. I haven't forgotten there's a football game going on, by the way. I'm still well in tune with the fact it's 0-0 in the Milan derby in the Champions League second leg semi-final. And it's still 2-0 Inter Milan. And Inter Milan playing out from the back quite effectively. Actually, I was impressed with Inter Milan last week. Oh, that's nice as well. They're in again here. Oh, no. I think, yeah. They just get across and cover. Teo Hernandez had a really busy start to this game. Not only did I not realise who he was via only his hair, he had that left-footed shot. There you go. Tell you what, this is a champ. Marti. Blazes over. Who was Bavea? Blazes over. That was half a chance. He found himself in the 10th position on the edge of the box. Spins. First touch is good. Pink boots and, blazes very high in the end, miles over. That was an opportunity because there was no one really near him, to be honest. Should have done better. Jordan Rossiter. Not the Jordan Rossiter, as we now know. Thanks for clearing that up. Just showing respect for the next Steven Gerrard. You, my friend, I reckon you're the only fake Jordan Rossiter going. And that's no disrespect to the real Jordan Rossiter, but I'm not having anyone's ever impersonated him before. On social media, YouTube, in real life. That's never happened. But hats off to you. Credit to you for that. Milesy. How's things, Dan? Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Quite a busy day. Recording shows and stuff like that. Talking about Liverpool, obviously. Last night was a late night, of course, watching the Reds get the business done. Watching Kurt Jones and Trent Alexander-Arnold, a.k.a. the Scousers, get the business done, I should probably say. Just what a night. And that is probably a fitting moment and a fitting time to talk about the main headline from last night, which wasn't Curtis Jones announcing himself to the world all over again with a stunning brace. It wasn't Trent Alexander-Arnold just absolutely running football matches over again. It was the Bobby song. It was the 10, 11, 12, whatever number you've seen on Twitter, long minutes rendition of Si Senor. I mean, seeing his face and his reaction to that was just remarkable. AC Milan have got half a chance here. I'll just stop to watch that, and it's half cleared by Inter Milan. Rafael Leao has it and recycles it, and they're going to play again through Tomori. That Bobby stuff was just... I mean, we're all devastated that he's leaving. We're all massively hoping that he will get to play at Aston Villa on the weekend and get the send-off he deserves and get yet more renditions of Si Senor. But I mean, just seeing his smile, sat on the bench, sat next to Darwin, just listening to it, taking it all in, and obviously the players pushing him over at the end. It was definitely a moment, and a moment we should savour and remember, because what a player he's been, what a character he's been, and we are going to miss him very, very dearly, absolutely. Got another comment I want to bring up, because it's... Oh, no, that wasn't the one. There he is. Giroud masterclass incoming. Possibly, Rico. Possibly hasn't started just yet. Giroud's clapping again. There's a lot of clapping in this opening 10 minutes. Every time I look up, he seems to be applauding someone's effort. I think they've won a corner, AC. But while that corner is about to happen, I want to bring up a comment that we don't see often on these YouTubes. Why can't I find it? There it is. Cool. Here we go. Mohammed Rahman. Dan, how tall are you? How tall do you think I am? That's what I'm going to ask. I was about to tell you, but how tall do you think I am? And Aaron will flag it up to me if I missed your response to that. Because obviously I'm sat down right now, you can probably tell. So I'm intrigued to know what I look like. You've seen me on other shows, most probably. You've probably seen me stood up at times, potentially on the board just over there. So how tall do you think I am? And yeah, do you think I'm the tallest at Redmen as well? Aaron has suggested 5'5", which is interesting because I see Aaron quite a lot, sort of day to day. And I thought he was a better judge of height than that. I must admit, like, he seems like the sort of person who would judge someone's height better. But clearly not, because I'm much smaller than that. Yeah, Steve Ryder makes the point, and rightfully so. Oh, did he scored? No? Sorry. Oh, the players are not happy. Nicola Barella is writhing in agony. But AC Milan were on the attack. Onana's going absolutely berserk. Onana, who famously allowed Curtis Jones to score against Ajax, I believe he was the one in goal. Theo Hernandez is berating Nicola Barella on the ground. Oh, Theo Hernandez just kicked through the back of Barella into his calf. The ball span off clear. And how did it... Here we go. Here's the chance, I see. Okay. So Onana saves down low. Fine save. I mean, it's a big chance, actually. Probably should do better. To be honest, I'm not sure who the player was. Was it Brahim Diaz? Yeah, it was Brahim Diaz. There's a big chance from inside the area with nobody really near him. Chananoglu and Lautaro Martinez are protesting to the referee that Theo Hernandez has committed more than one of those fouls. Barella is still down. And yeah, he's still down. He's not happy. He's injured, potentially, so he's perfect fit for Liverpool, as it turns out. I'll take back everything I said. We might sign him. Let's just see how the whole move plays out. Let's talk some actual Champions League action. Guess the byline. Oh, that is a huge chance. I didn't realise he's pretty much right on the penalty spot, just behind it by a yard, and he side foots it very tamely, and he allows Onana to get down and save. A little bit of an inquest going on in the Inter Milan backline, and it's easy to understand why. But yeah, still 0-0, and play looks like it will go on in just a second. Yeah, Steve Ryder makes the point that the song only stopped because Trent put the ball in the top bin. Yeah, absolutely right. I've had some heights coming in. I'm going to go through the heights. I haven't said that Nigel's guess is more accurate. I haven't seen Nigel's guess just yet. Richard Reimer says 5'10". Not bad. Not bad. We got a 5'11" as well from Spaceman 420. Not that. Hamza suggests the ludicrous height of 6'7". Peter Crouch, I am not, as Inter Milan are on the attack now. This is a big chance. Here we go. Pulls it back. Oh, it's a big save, actually. AC are protesting to the liner for offside. Meininger makes a big save. I don't know if his foot or his hand had got down to deny it. It was offside. So it doesn't really matter. It looks very much offside to me. Oh, it's a hand. I'll tell you what, regardless of the flag, it's a good stop. Still 0-0. AC Milan take what is the liner. Obviously, they flag for it eventually. Commentary, let alone talking to you guys as well. But I'm going to carry on because that's more fun. I mean, Inter Milan, AC Milan. Divock Origi's not playing, so what? Yeah, Hamza says 6'7". No, I'm not Peter Crouch. Not 6'7". I'll tell you. I want to find Nigel's actually before I do, and then I can move on to some. Someone just asked me would I take anyone from Southampton. I want to see that comment again. Yeah, here we go, John. Sorry, Jean Biancan. I want to get that name right. Yeah, Jean Biancan, 10, 6'1", very close. And howdy, it's David. Here we go. This is the one. I'm 6'3", and I think Dan Club is 6'2". Translate that into Scouse measurements if you need. Scouse measurements, I am also 6'3". Yeah, on the money. Close enough on the money. Yeah, I'm the same height as you and David. John Summers says, this is an interesting one because he asked me, would I take any player from Southampton? Fascinatingly enough, I did a show today with a Belgian football journalist who has reported and believes the Liverpool are interested in Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia. Now, that show will be coming out tomorrow on Redmen Plus. Please get involved if you want to watch it in full. But he is of the belief that we really like him. 19-year-old kid from Southampton. He's actually had an okay season, given Southampton's struggles. And he's probably the answer to that question, to be honest. I've seen we were linked with Bella Kotchup, the centre-half. Okay, fine. Not interested in James Ward-Prowse, for the record. No interest in that. Has been a very good Premier League footballer, don't get me wrong. I just think if that move was going to happen, as much as Garth Crooks was wanting to happen every single day, sorry, he asked for it to me every single year, all the time. How do you, David, when we meet... Sorry, I've got sidetracked again, just for a change. These comments. How do you, David? When we meet, we will have the ultimate stare down, both in short. Yeah, I think we will. Both 6'3", both shorted fellows. It'll be an absolute absolute standoff. Somebody said, I just want to bring this up. Milesy20 says Livramento from Southampton will be good for a right back option. Yeah, I get that. I just think we're going to persist with Calvin Ramsey. I don't think you sign a young, talented lad, obviously has a season absolutely plagued by injuries through no fault of his own, of course. We're not going to sort of give up on him just yet. He was back in training the other day. I think we go with Calvin Ramsey as the right back option, to be honest, with a little bit of Kurt Jones thrown in as well, potentially. And who knows, maybe even some Conor Bradley thrown in for good measure. But yeah, to answer the original question, I think Lavia would be the option. 19 years old. I think you're looking at sort of like 50 million, which is a lot of money for a relegated footballer. I'd like that price to come down quite a lot, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, 19 years old, defensive midfielder, Belgian international, etc., etc. There's something in that to me, and Neil Jones is very much of the opinion and the belief that Liverpool are in the market for Premier League footballers who've had experience or are proven in the English top flight, and I think that will be the way we go. And maybe because of that, the likes of Manuel Ugarte, etc., don't tick that box. I've had a question. That wasn't the question I wanted. I'll bring it up anyway. Milesy20, my only option with Calvin Ramsey is, will he be anywhere near ready after the injury he's had? Thought maybe a loan would be good for him. Yeah, possibly. And we've seen a lot of Liverpool youngsters benefit from a loan, haven't we, in recent times? Conor Bradley himself. Harvey Elliott one. Who else? I mean, Joel Quansah is a young lad doing really well on loan at the minute. He's just signed a new contract, actually, with Liverpool, the young centre-half. He's been at Bristol Rovers. So who knows, maybe a loan is the option. And Fabio Carvalho the same. He might need to go out on loan as well over the summer. But for me, with Ramsey, we do need a backup right back. I don't think we're going to sign one because I think we've got one in him already, quite frankly. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Kevin Vecchero says, hello Dan, transfer question, Mount or McAllister? Chloe would hate me for this, but I'm going to say Alexis McAllister. Really like Mason Mount. I don't know what it is with Matt. I think it's his lack of football this season, actually. I think there's a bit of recency bias in this, from my point of view, because he just hasn't played enough football this season. Like, he's had really good times with Chelsea. Like, he's been in sort of rich veins of form before. When they got to Champions League final, he was really impressive in that run. But like I say, just his lack of football this year just hasn't happened for him, has it? And I think he's obviously ended the season injured as well. Whereas McAllister, yeah, there's a little bit of flavour of the month in that. Recently won the World Cup, playing all the time for Brighton, being influential for Brighton, scoring winners for Brighton, potentially on Thursday night as well. Who knows? Let's hope. But yeah, I think I would just about be McAllister. If they were the same price, I think I'd just about be McAllister on that one. But yeah, feel free to your own opinion on that, because it's not the most strident opinion I've ever had. I'm pretty easy on both of them, to be honest. I think there are actually better options out there than either of them, if I'm going to be really sort of firm on it. Jude Bellingham being one of them, but we won't talk about him, of course. I wanted to talk to you about Jurrien Timber a little bit as well when I get the opportunity, which seems like now, because Andy van der Meijden, former Holland and Everton winger, stroke defender, maybe, spoke about him today, as did Wesley Sneijder, former Holland attacking midfielder. And both of them are of the opinion that Jurrien Timber will probably end up at Liverpool. This came from, I think it was Voetbal International in Holland via Sport Witness. I was looking at it just before. And Timber's a really interesting option for us because he plays right back, plays centre back, and in this new system with Trent being a hybrid right back, it seems like a sort of positional sense that would make a lot of sense for Liverpool to go and do. I mean, absolutely nothing's happened in the Champions League semi-final, by the way. I'm not just talking for the sake of talking. That ball's going to have a throw-in. Inter Milan on the attack. It's a throw-in. Still 0-0. Timber. I think it would make a lot of sense for us. Very young, quick enough to sort of get across and cope like Konaté's been doing. And that's going to be the key to this, because I think Konaté's been really good in that role as a right-sided centre-back and getting across. But I worry about him playing week in, week out, because he just hasn't done it since he arrived at Liverpool. Joe Gomez, you could say the same for. We're not quite sure what happens with Joel Matip next. So, yeah, I think going for someone like Timber would make a whole lot of sense. Someone who can play centre-half, can play right-back. I think that's just the perfect mould. And on the flip side of that, we probably need someone on the left-hand side to do a very similar job. Steve Ryder has said he wants to see Gakpo be a monster 8 to replace Henderson. It's an interesting one, the Gakpo in 8, isn't it? Because obviously he tried it against, I forgot who we played last, Brentford. Tried it against Brentford, and he was okay. And I think he was okay because he's such an intelligent footballer. Like, he is superb. We've seen that already since he came in. He's already learnt an entire new position, essentially, in the space of like 2.5 months. But yeah, I'm not convinced by Gakpo. I think if we start moving him around too much, you might lose a little bit from him. Something we did with Firmino, actually, at the start of his Liverpool career under Rodgers. Obviously, he was sort of shifted left, right and centre, and he ended up not really working for him. It wasn't until Klopp comes in and says, no, you're just going to play as a false 9, stroke 9, that we actually start seeing the best out of him. And we don't want to do that with Gakpo, do we? Gakpo's brilliant. I adore Cody Gakpo. Let's just play him in his best position, which could well be that false 9. Lunatic. I hope I'm getting that name right. Lunatic. Okay. Timber could become a class 6 as well. Interesting. The 6th one is a fascinating conversation. I mean, there's loads of fascinating conversations around Liverpool this summer, isn't there? Because Stefan Bajcetic, as we've seen come in, obviously do absolutely brilliantly well, but gets injured. Not forgotten about necessarily, because everyone remembers how superb he was in his brief little run in the side. He was sort of the start of Liverpool transforming their fortunes in many ways. He was superb. And I wonder if we won't go and get Fabinho cover because of him. Because Fabinho cover to me feels like an absolute necessity this summer. But when you look at who we're linked with, yes, there's a little bit of Ugarte around. There's a little bit of Lavia around, like I mentioned earlier. But most of the names are 8s. Your Gravenberches, your Mounts, McAllister, of course. There doesn't seem to be a real standout 6 among them. So maybe we are sort of pinning our hopes on Bajcetic. But like the comment says, if we found someone like Timber, who has the ability to go and play as a 6 potentially in the future, then that would also make a lot of sense. John Sommers brings up the Kelleher story, which is something I wanted to touch upon tonight, actually. I think it was Brentford, wasn't it, who essentially turned down the option of signing Kevin Kelleher because 15 million was deemed unreasonable, as Bavea goes on it. Lovely. Oh, it's a chance. Oh, good block. AC Milan block well. Inter back on the attack. It's fired across. It's over again. It wasn't Bavea this time. It was Mkhitaryan, actually. The ball falls from on the edge of the box, and it's a pretty poor effort. It's fired in. It's a bit pimp. Oh, it's pretty tame. He goes for a side foot looking for the top corner, and it's just hopelessly over, essentially. He's changed a lot, Mkhitaryan, as well, in this look. AC Milan take a goal kick. John Geller, the 15 million, I've seen number 6. The 15 million thing has baffled me today. Like, who do Brentford, who do they think they are? And we are, for that matter. Because, 15 million's a bargain for Kevin Kelleher. An absolute bargain. I was amazed that they didn't just bite our hands off at that price. If that is the price Liverpool have quoted him, and indeed Brentford are interested, of course, that is bargain territory for Kelleher. He is so good. Liverpool can't demand sort of upwards of 30 million, I don't think, because he hasn't got the amount of football to warrant that fee. I think if he'd have played 50, 70, 80 games, you can say that figure because he's that good a keeper. But we've seen enough of him to suggest that sort of 15, 20 million is the bare minimum. So for Brentford to turn around and reportedly say, no, that's too much money, is madness, absolute madness. Now, I know they're about to lose, or looks like they're about to lose, David Villa, their goalkeeper. Another very good keeper, by the way. But yeah, to say no for Kelleher 15 is daft, quite frankly. And Brentford, a team that sort of notoriously do very good business, for them to say no to him is nuts. And I'd love to keep Kelleher as, this is a big chance. Inter Milan are in. Dumfries crosses, well defended. Clear behind for a corner. Milan Tior clears behind. Clap from Martinez this time. Was he on loan at Celtic for a bit, that Tior? Or nearly was. Anyway, it's a corner. Inter Milan have a corner. Some conversation going on about Ramsey. I agree with you, John. 50 million is a joke. Quality keeper. He is a quality keeper. And for 15 million, they'd be getting an absolute bargain. Still very young. What is he, 23, 24, something like that? I might be over-egging that, to be honest with you. Superb. Absolutely superb keeper. Carl comes in the comments. Carl Zieler. Brentford don't exactly have a lot of money to play around with, and they may want someone with heaps of experience. Yeah, quite possibly. I don't know about the experience thing, though, because that isn't their mould in general, is it? They tend to sign young players with a sort of a high ceiling, and Kelleher fits that bill quite a few times over, to be honest. So I think Kelleher to Brentford makes a lot of sense. It's the sort of move I could see him making, actually, in a lot of sense. I don't want him to leave. I've already said that. And I think if we got Europa League football this season, which obviously we all don't want, we'd like to get into the top four. If we did get Europa League, I actually think there's a stronger chance that he stays, because you could turn around and say to someone like Kelleher, as well as a few of the other young lads, actually, like Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, etc., because it's Europa League, you're going to start all the games in that. Like if it was Champions League, you can't rest and rotate all the time unless you're through a particular tie or you're through the group. But with something like the Europa League, you can afford to make more changes and probably still advance in the tournament. So if you were to give Kelleher FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Europa League, you might be able to keep hold of him for another year. That would be the ideal scenario, because such a high quality backup keeper, you want to keep him around, don't you? But it could be difficult because he is that good. He's going to want to play. He's going to want to play football, let's be honest. He's already a Carabao Cup winner. Very much of a Carabao Cup winner as well. What else did I want to talk about? Sadio Mane. Very briefly, want to touch upon him as well. Apparently, reportedly, according to my friend Florian Plettenberg, has no future at Bayern Munich, which is something, isn't it? Like, who would have thunk that? Sadio Mane, Liverpool legend, leaves as a Liverpool legend. Like, we all adore him. Unbelievable goal scorer, unbelievable footballer. Not even 12 months down the line, could not be staying at Bayern Munich. Like, it hasn't really worked for him. I know he had the injury, which obviously ruled him out of the World Cup as well. And I know he then punches Leroy Sané in the face, which is never ideal. But I am surprised, I am shocked if he does leave this summer, because, like I've already said, world-class footballer. And Bayern Munich will be missing out on a bit of Sadio Mane, I'd have to say, if they were to sell, if they were to cash in. I think within the report from Florian, he did say that pretty much only the Premier League could afford him wages-wise, which is particularly daunting because it suggests that Premier League clubs might be sniffing around Sadio Mane. It's not going to be Liverpool, let's be quite frank about that. Our forward line is very much sorted. And I'm worried it might be Chelsea. I have no inside knowledge on that. That's just something that worries me. Mainly because they buy everyone. That's my main thing on that. But yeah, anyway, John Doyle says, we would destroy both of them. I assume you're talking about both these Milan sides, and I tend to agree with you. Because from the football I have watched tonight, I'm not convinced by either of them. And my main concern, actually, with both of these, Inter Milan have won a corner. My main concern with both of these, Bavea wins the corner. And I'm not, there's an Inter Milan fan sat next to an AC Milan fan. That's interesting. Is whatever happens. Steve Ryder asked what's happening. It's still 0-0. And the aggregate score is still 2-0 to Inter Milan. I apologise. I will try and keep you more updated with the game. Yeah, like I say, my main worry is that whoever does qualify through this gets absolutely destroyed by probably Man City in the final, and nobody wants that. It's a good ball in, fizzed in, headed clear. It's bouncing around in the box. Like, Inter kept. Oh, that looked like it was going to fall to Dzeko for a second. Bavea picks it up, goes for the 1-2, doesn't get the 1-2, probably should have, and Inter recycle to go all the way back. All the way back, and they come in again. Fizzed across. Good ball, actually. Bavea goes high. AC Milan player has slipped. It's on the volley, and it's blocked. Clear. Going to go out for a throw-in. Yeah, it's still 0-0 in the San Siro. Not much to report. A couple of big saves, a couple of offside flags involved, a couple of fouls, quite a lot of moaning. But yeah, still 2-0 to Inter. And Inter Milan will obviously be happy with this in what is their home match, in inverted commas. Quite comfortable. No real scares as of yet. Divock Origi remains on the bench. Yeah, that needs to change at some point. To pique my interest in the game at the very least, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, I see this Harvey Owen. Is this that 14-year-old kid we've been linked with? I've seen that. I don't think anything's signed yet. I've not seen anything sort of done on that front. Yeah, Liverpool sort of trying to sweep up the most exciting youngsters around, I guess. Did it with Bobby Clark, did it with Ben Doak, of course, from Celtic. Did it with Stefan Bajcetic from Celta Vigo as well before that. It's become very much part of the FSG strategy, I suppose, to sign the most prodigiously talented young talent around. Kay Gordon was another one, Harvey Elliott before that, of course. Be interesting to see what happens, like to Kay Gordon next season, actually, and Ben Doak, for that matter. I think loan moves could well suit them. Inter look to getting behind, but Meiningen will come and deal with that, will he? Oh, dear me. He's done enough in the end, and they look to play out for Theo Hernandez. Yeah, no, not heard anything in terms of actually signing him, by the way. Yeah, I've had a question asking, is our Lord and Saviour Divock playing? No, he's not. I'm not going to bring up your comment, Don Leah, but very well done. Very nice. I'm not going to bring it up, because that would be bad. That'd be really bad of me. But I'm not gonna say it. Howdy, it's David. It says, yeah, Gabby Vega is another option. Yeah, Celta Vigo kid. Very exciting. Very young. Very talented, clearly. But again, I have my reservations about our links to foreign footballers, because Neil Jones, the brilliant Neil Jones, who comes in and does Journal Insight, of course. There's a stoppage in play, by the way. I think someone's got a boot to the head. Essentially, said that Liverpool are very much in the market for Premier League proven footballers this summer, which makes a lot of sense because the settling in, the embedding in period doesn't exist, essentially, and you can sort of throw them straight into the side, which is why the likes of Caicedo, Declan Rice, etc. would make a whole lot of sense. And yeah, I suppose we're kind of in need of such a quick fix that signing players that would take time to adapt, or potentially take time to adapt to the Premier League, would only extend that sort of period of us not quite being at it. And if we want to return to the top of the Premier League table, or somewhere near it, challenging it at the very least, we might need to just stay in the Premier League. Although I will say, no one's mentioned him, but it's not Matthias Nunes. He is not the answer. There was a report today, actually, from The Athletic that I want to just touch upon as well. And it said, despite the Manuel Ugarte links, Liverpool are more likely to sign Ryan Gravenberch from Bayern Munich than the Sporting Lisbon midfielder, which I'm not wholly surprised about. Deep crossing, that's right down the keeper's throat, comfortable, and he looks to play out quickly. Can he? I mean, just about. Yeah, they're away again. AC Milan on the attack. Well, the half attack again. Still 0-0. Very little to report in this game of football. Very, very little. Inter Milan organised, trying to soak up pressure. I suppose that's all you can afford to do when you've got a 2-0 lead in the first leg. You're under absolutely no pressure to go and try and win this particular game of football. AC Milan try a through ball and it just runs out of play. Giroud looking for Leao, I think, runs out of play for an Inter Milan goal kick. Yeah. I seen a comment earlier, I think it was you, Michael Bennett, I apologise that I missed it, asking about Thursday night and what our plans were from sort of a watch-along perspective for the Newcastle-Brighton game, of course. Yeah, I don't think we are planning on doing that just yet. I think sort of tentatively we're seeing how these next couple of games go. If Newcastle drop points, fingers crossed, against Brighton, and indeed Manchester United drop points at the weekend, and moreover, Liverpool get their own business taken care of against Aston Villa, maybe we'll address the watch-along for our rivals' games situation as of next week. Because the permutations are there for all to see. We need Newcastle and Manchester United both to drop points, I think, in 2 games out of their last remaining 3. They both got to play Chelsea. I think United have got Fulham as well to come. And the Mitrovic factor is fascinating there because he obviously received, I think it was an 8-game ban on the back of their FA Cup match. And he might want a little bit of revenge, let's hope. And yeah, the top 4 race remains live. And that's basically essentially due to us getting our business taken care of, like I say, getting our jobs done time and time again. And the parallels between this season and the COVID season are mad. Like, they're just mad. Like, obviously, terrible time of it, generally speaking, throughout the year. And then we put this crazy sort of unheard of run together right at the end of the season, and it gets us close to, if not into, the top 4. Obviously, this is the anniversary of Alisson Becker's magical West Brom header. And yeah, who knows? There might be time for another moment like that. Yeah, if Diogo Jota's winner against Tottenham wasn't that moment already. But I haven't talked myself into thinking we're going to get top 4 just yet. I'd actually made peace with the Europa League, so much so that I've actually booked a trip to Ireland when the Europa League final is on next year. That's how much peace I'd made with us being in that. But now all of a sudden, I don't know, I'm open to the idea of United and Newcastle United dropping points because why not? Like, this is just what we do, isn't it? We kind of false start our way to a position and then go on a run. And then who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Milesy20 says he reckons Ali's got another goal in him. I mean, goal or assist to do. Like an assist from Mo Salah against Villa at the weekend. Although it's probably written that Bobby has a say against Aston Villa, isn't it? To be honest. Cross comes in AC Milan. Headed clear. And the ref blows for another foul. Edge of the box to Inter Milan. AC Milan can't believe it. Yeah. I mean, this game always had the potential to be a bit like this, with Inter Milan rather being in the driving seat from the first leg, but it's very much like that. AC Milan don't really pack enough of a punch, do they? Like, I'm probably saying it now when they go on and absolutely romp it in a minute, but I don't know. I think Inter are the better side, quite frankly. I just do. Steve Ryder says, got to be a Thursday night watch-along pint. I forget my words. Thursday night watch-along pint, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not doing it. So those guys can crack on. The Thursday night pint this week is going to be a bit good, by the way. Actually, I've got two amazing guests. I won't spill the beans on them just yet, but they are going to be boss. And they're always boss, to be fair. I mean, Steve Ryder, you'll advocate for Nick Peat being a boss guest every day of the week, as well as Ian Byrne, who was alongside. We had some amazing people come in the studio whilst doing the Thursday night pints. And another reason Liverpool need Champions League football is so Thursday night pint can actually remain as a show. Rafael Leao is in here. He beat his man. It's a big chance. Oh! He's dragged wide. He did really well. I think it was Darmian slipped. And Leao, took full advantage, got him behind, stood up his man, went round him. Yeah, it is Darmian. There's a little bit of a push involved, if I'm going to be honest, but who cares about that? Leao gets in, opens it up on his left foot and drags wide. Oh, that's two. Like I said, AC lacked a little bit of a punch, and they do. But that's two pretty big chances they've had in this first half. And they might rue missing both of them. And Leao has committed a foul this time. Yeah, he's given it. Yeah, that's two. I think Brahim Diaz and now Leao have had two golden opportunities to at least give AC a foothold in the tie, and they've squandered both of them. They have squandered both of them. Anyway, we move on. Still 2-0 on aggregate. Still 0-0 on the night. Inter Milan have a free kick. Edin Dzeko has been fouled. John again. Thanks very much for the comment again, John. Hi, Dan. Do you think Matip will leave this summer? You know what? That's a really interesting one, because if you'd asked me that about 3 weeks ago, before he played in that game and was boss, I'd have said, yeah, I think he is going to leave this summer. Like, he seemed certain that he would. And now all of a sudden I'm not enough. Like, so much so that we were talking upstairs before, actually, and Chloe was talking about, obviously, Bobby's send-off and the send-off that he'll get, and James Milner as well, of course, on Saturday against Aston Villa at Anfield, their final Anfield game, and it's going to be emotional for lots of different reasons. One of those reasons is not Artemello play. Oh, it's a big save from Manningen again. Like, if AC Milan do get anything from this contest, they're going to have to thank the keeper, because he's pulled off another big stopper. The glancing header, it's come off a couple. Lautaro Martinez, and I think it comes off a defender. And it's saved sort of one arm onto the other. He palms it onto himself, but keeps it out, and it's cleared. It was Chanaloglu who gets a little flick. Anyway, yeah, we were talking about the players that are leaving. And obviously Milner, Bobby being the main one, of course. Artemello announced his very sad departure from Liverpool Football Club earlier on this week. So he'll also be leaving. And Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and actually Joel Matip got brought into the conversation in terms of the send-off he'll get. However, he'll do a lap of honour. He'll be part of the applause. He'll be part of the fact that we thought he was going to leave, but I don't know anymore. There's that chance again. It's straight at him, to be fair. It's relatively straight at him. It's close enough that he can make the save. But still, he reacts well. Yeah, Lautaro Martinez looks up to the heavens. Can't believe he hasn't put this tie to bed yet. It's an Inter Milan corner. It's going to be a left-footed delivery. Whipped in. Glance clear. Bavea keeps it alive with an audacious little flip. Martinez on the turn. He's opened up a space. Oh, God. He opened up space really well for himself on the edge of the box. Left-footed shot over the bar again. Gets under it. Yeah, he's slipping when he hits it, to be fair. Gets under it, and it's into the stands. It's into the stands. Yeah. Matip, I don't know. Like I say, a few weeks ago, I was certain he would leave. It felt inevitable that we'd cash in. He's not out of contract till next season. And if you are going to get any money for him, it has to be now. It has to be this summer, essentially. I thought we would. I thought we'd love to get maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 million for someone like Joel Matip. But yeah, not going to happen. Maybe not going to happen. The reports have kind of stopped. He's played a bit more football since then. So, I don't know, we might keep him around. I suppose there's that much of a rebuild to be done at Liverpool. You'd want to keep as many sort of first-team players as you can around. I'm not including the likes of Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain in that, quite obviously. But yeah, Joel Matip, we might just keep him around for another year. But it's an interesting one because do you keep him and let him leave on the free next season like we did with Wijnaldum and Origi, of course? Or do you keep him timed down to a new one-year deal so you can cash in again maybe in 12 months' time? I don't know, man. I don't know. Another comment. Dom Lear says, the lads at Leicester City TV are angry today because they need to play us in Singapore July 30th. Yeah, Liverpool did announce their pre-season tour. I think it is Leicester and Bayern Munich, I think I'm right in saying, in Singapore. There's another stoppage in the Champions League game, by the way. It's Mkhitaryan that's down. He's hobbling off. He's had a little bit of treatment. He'll be fine to carry on. Yeah, Liverpool head to Singapore for their pre-season tour. Probably go somewhere in Europe as well. We tend to do that, but we will be off to the Far East as part of our preparations for season 2023-2024. Hopefully with about 4 or 5 new footballers in the squad and a fit Thiago, a fit Stefan Bajcetic, etc., etc. And possibly Joel Matip still being there as well. Steve Ryder comes in about the weekend. That's not the comment at all. That's something to talk about. Balotelli and Vicky Lambert, that is very much not what I was wanting to talk about. It's going to be an emotional one at the weekend for Bobby. I think the others, Milner gets a big one, but the others just free up medical beds. So sound, yeah. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain will get a relatively decent send-off. I actually think Naby Keita will as well. We're not the type to ignore our footballers, I don't think, regardless of what they've done or haven't done, as the case may be. But yeah, your point on Bobby is absolutely the right one. Like he's going to get some send off. Roberto Firmino at the weekend. It's going to be emotional. And James Milner deserves a hell of a lot of credit as well for his time at Liverpool. Inter Milan have made a change actually. Out of nowhere, is that Brozovic coming on? It looks like Marcelo Brozovic is coming on. Mkhitaryan wasn't okay as it turns out. He has hobbled off and he's hobbled off to the bench. So a couple of minutes to go before half time. Still 0-0. AC Milan have probably had the better chances. Actually, they had that Brahim Diaz effort, which he should have done better with. Leao has to hit the target with his effort as well. They end up dragging wide. And Inter Milan, looking to sit deep, hit on the counter. I suppose they'll be relatively comfortable. Certainly with the scoreline. Oh, half a header back. Yeah, and Onana comes and deals with it. But yeah, it's going to be a sad one at Anfield. Hopefully we get the business done in terms of getting our 3 points on the board to keep the pressure on Newcastle and Manchester United. But yeah, in terms of send-offs, I think, like I say, Ox will get a decent one, Naby will get a decent one. I don't think Arthur, as much as Alex Redo tells me that he will be emotional about Arthur, I don't believe you. Another chance for AC on the volley, blocked. Yeah, I don't believe you. And B, I don't agree with you either, quite frankly. Listen, not his fault, I guess, is my sort of overriding message on Arthur Melo. Signed him, probably should never have signed him. He's been relatively sort of okay. He came out earlier on this week or last week and said he wanted to thank the fans for his time at Liverpool, etc., etc. Yeah. Not one that we'll remember in about a week's time after he's left, I imagine. Like I say, no fault of his own. Some poor business by Liverpool in the transfer market. Clearly felt that we needed to do something late in the window. He was available. He was an option. We went and did it. We should have known better, I guess, is probably the way of putting it. Poor injury record. Wasn't fit. Hadn't played enough football. The list goes on. He actually was on the bench last night at Leicester, wasn't he? Which I was surprised at. But he played 13-14 minutes in a dismal performance in Naples. I mean, as transfers go, Hasn't been the best, has it, everyone? Into stoppage time in the first half. Still 0-0. Still 2-0 to Inter on aggregate, of course. Yeah, all relatively straightforward. And Milesy makes the point. Oh, yeah, I'll bring up your point in a second, John. It's a good one. Artemelo is the greatest Brazilian to have played one game for Liverpool. I reckon we can find a better one. If he was Argentinian, I think Patrice Luzi played one game for Liverpool, the keeper, years ago. And he could stake a claim. I think we won that game. He came on as a sub for Jerzy Dudek when Bruno Chevu scored the winner. And he would definitely make a case. The best South American to ever play one game for Liverpool is probably Patrice Luzi. Artemelo may well be the best Brazilian to do so. I'll have to take your word for it on that one. I wanted to bring up this just before we go to half-time, which is only seconds away. It is still 0-0. Of course, don't forget about Adrian leaving. Yeah, that's one that's gone under the radar. Massively under the radar, actually, that. No one's even mentioned it. And it's interesting because we were, with the Jörg Schmadtke links coming in as sporting director, we have been linked with a replacement backup keeper, I suppose is the best way of putting it. And he looks like he will replace Adrian. And who knows what happens. Miles, our challenger, found a better one. I might have done it already. The South American fella, Patrice Luzi, done. Boxed. Unless you want me to find a better Brazilian, then it will take a little bit longer. How many games did Diego Cavalieri play for Liverpool? I suppose that's the answer to that question. But yeah, where was I? Adrian. Yeah, and he will get a good reception from Anfield, I hope, anyway, because, listen, we all remember nightmare nights. Like the Aston Villa game, actually, ironically enough, the 7-2 was absolutely horrific for all involved. And, of course, Atletico Madrid at Anfield, of course. But then we all remember the Super Cup and Jurgen Klopp saying, Adrian, like Rocky at the end. And he was the hero of that, of course. Saved the penalty from Tammy Abraham, I think I'm right in saying. Right at the end. Daz Reynolds asks a couple of questions. How are we doing, my mate? You okay? He asks, do I think Bobby and Nunes will be fit for Saturday? Bobby, I certainly hope so. I seen today that James Pearce said he hadn't taken the day off, which the rest of the players did today, because he wanted to carry on getting ready for that game on Saturday, which is boss news, because we've all got to hope that he is ready, because he deserves a send-off. He does not deserve to go out being unfit and on the bench and having to come on and walk around having not played. He deserves to play football for Liverpool at the very end of his career. And Nunes, that was a minor toe injury. I imagine he will be fit. I hope he will be, because I still think he's going to be boss for Liverpool Football Club, quite frankly. Lucy was French. I mean, I stand corrected if he was. I apologise profusely. Daz comes back with who's doing the games more on this channel. That'll be Chloe. That'll be Chloe. She's much better looking than I am. And if anything, if recent polls on this channel have told you anything, that's not hard, because everyone's much better looking than I am. Is the new Bobby mural near the ground? I'll finish on this one before I take a quick break for half time and you stop hearing my voice. Yeah, it is. It's not finished yet. We will be doing some stuff around that, of course, alongside our Roberto Firmino documentary that will be out in due course, of course, over on Redmen Plus. But yeah, the new Bobby mural is near the ground. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to say where it is. I have seen it. I have seen glimpses of it. It isn't done yet. It won't be too long. It's boss, quite frankly. And that also ties in nicely with our Thursday night pint guest. But I'm not going to divulge any more information on that yet. Just even. No, I'm going to bring up one more comment. Two more comments before we go. How do you stay with Jesus, Dan? Don't be so hard on yourself. I'm not being hard on myself. That is results of a poll. That is factually correct, what I said a minute ago. I've lost numerous polls on this channel and indeed on the main channel recently regarding looks. And I'm fine with it. I'm not bringing it up to get some sort of vindication from you guys, although that would be nice. And one final one. I promise this is the final one before I actually do go and take a break. Syme says, Diego Cavalieri made 8 appearances for Liverpool, but not one of them was in the Premier League. And you know, people come here and say they don't get facts and fascinating information. They're wrong. If anyone ever tells you that, look at this from Symes. Diego Cavalieri chat. Look at that. I'm still bringing up comments. I need to go. Quadbot says, I met Dan. He is gorgeous and smells amazing. Love yourself, club. I mean, I wasn't expecting the smells amazing thing. That's caught me off guard. I'll be honest. And very finally, you're a fine-looking lad with or without shorts. Well, that is always with shorts, unless I'm doing a podcast or now the fan cam after the match, because that's in a very similar position to the podcast, on the leather couches. And as we nearly discovered with Andy Bell last night, sort of revealing yourself can be an issue on those. Anyway, I will take that break that I've been promising myself for about 5 minutes. Thanks, Alex, in the comments as well. I promise I will talk about Inter Milan, AC Milan a little bit more in the second half. I'll try my best. Anyway, I've got some more Liverpool chat. Of course, it is still 0-0, which means it is still 2-0 Inter Milan on aggregate. Let's hope the actual game of football heats up a little bit in the second half. But anyway, I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Here's some adverts.
What's happening? We've got an incredible prize to give away this month. It is a signed picture and frame of Liverpool's 3-time European Cup winning former captain, the man, the legend, Phil Thompson. Yes, if you join up as a Club Legend subscriber on redmenplus.com, or if you're an existing Club Captain subscriber and wish to upgrade, your name will go in the hat at the end of the month to win that incredible signed prize. Bang it on your mantelpiece, stick it on the wall of your man cave or woman cave, and add to your incredible Liverpool collection with this wonderful piece of LFC memorabilia.
My Liverpool debut, a new series, exploring where it all began for a number of Anfield favourites.
We had that belief and nothing was going to get in our way, nothing was going to stop us. I was just fortunate to get my chance.
I'm about to wear the red strip for the first time and play with all the wonderful talent that I was in awe of.
And the travelling Liverpool fans started singing my name. You can imagine how special that felt.
Football saved my life.
It was amazing to be part of that lineup with that calibre of players.
I knew I deserved to be there. I knew I deserved that chance. I knew I was ready.
I'm Jamie Carragher.
I'm Phil Thompson.
I'm Martin Kelly.
I'm Jim Beglin.
I'm Neil Mellor.
My name is Bruce David Grobbelaar.
And this is my Liverpool debut.
What's happening? We have got our huge, our mega, our extravagant end of season party coming up and available for ticket sale right now. Do you like what we do on the podcast, on the shows, on the match days, on the watchalongs? Then come and see us live and in the flesh with live music by the full band of the Ragamuffins as well. Yes, the Reds have been in a tricky season, shall we say, the very least. But you know what? Let's see the season out in style with a Redmen TV party for the ages. We're going to be at Hotel Anfield on the 19th of May. That is the Friday night. Get your babysitters booked and come and party with us to drown the season sorrows or celebrate a successful end. Whichever way it goes, we will be there with you. Let's have a laugh. Tickets on sale right now. The link will be in the description. I hope to see you there.
Challenge to get this shirt signed by every single Liverpool player from the 2005 Champions League final and by the manager. This is Finding Istanbul.
Okay, cool. Hi everyone, I'm back. Nice break. Hope everyone else had a little break. Still 0-0, half time. Champions League semi-final. Inter Milan lead 2-0 on aggregate, of course. And quite frankly, I wouldn't say they're in control because they gave up two pretty big opportunities to AC. But in terms of how the sort of bounds of play is going, they'll be quite satisfied because they're sitting deep behind the ball. They're counter-attacking when they want, and they're getting themselves some half opportunities. They've had a few efforts from long range, but AC Milan, they'll be ruining those chances. Like Brahim Diaz misses from inside the area, should do better, should work the goalkeeper more really. Rafael Leao should work the goalkeeper full stop when he gets half a yard for himself. So, yeah, they're bringing stats up now. AC Milan more possession, that's no surprise whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it's still 2-0. You know, we are 3/4 of the way into this game of football now. Over the two legs, just going through some highlights. Theo Hernandez and his pink hair, long range effort. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they'll be gutted. AC. They should at least be 1-0 up. You'd have to say one of those two chances has to go in, and yeah, they didn't take them. Anyway, Steve Ryder, in. Throw a poll, we'll decide now. I mean, I think Emma might have just ran to the toilet. When he's back, I'm happy to do a poll. What poll would you like exactly? You tell me what poll. We'll find out what poll he wants first. Steve Riley says, "You're a fine looking lad, but after meeting the better half, I've got to admit you're punching." Cheers. Nice one. Appreciate that. Yeah, really nice of you. No, I'm joking, Steve. You're right, to be honest with you. She might well be watching now. And if she is, listen to that. What a lovely comment that is. Just showing that Leao chance again. He does really well. Oh, it's a narrow angle. He's gutted that he missed. He fires it wide anyway. Milesy20 says, "You can think of that Brazilian on your break." I did have a little consideration about who it might be. There might not be one, quite frankly. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it too much. But we haven't had that many Brazilians, actually. Sort of recent years, obviously, have more Fabio Aurelio, Fabinho, obviously, Firmino, Cavalieri, Alisson, others, Arthur Melo. Wow. Yeah. Forget about Arthur Melo. John O'Connor says, "Almost every man he knows is punching." Okay. Yeah. Your comment pinned, Dave, is it? Yeah. Cool. Which comment? The one about being told before. We still need to know what poll you want, Kevin, by the way. Please enlighten us. We'll do it. Avon will sort it. Let us know what poll you'd like. You decide. You decide on this one. I want to talk a little bit more about Liverpool, obviously, as half-time is happening. Permutations-wise, we need some drop points to happen. Newcastle, of course, play Brighton on Thursday night, which will be a fascinating game, really interesting from our point of view. And then Newcastle play Leicester, which is a game that, sort of judging by the evidence of Leicester last night, you'd imagine Newcastle will sort of breeze through, because Leicester, after the opening sort of 15 minutes, weren't really in that as a contest. The fans turned on them. They lack quality, which is really surprising given the players they have in their squad. When you've got likes of James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy, Patson Thacker, Yuri Tielemans, I kind of expect a little bit more from them. And I haven't really expected them to be down where they are in the table all season. But because of the players I've just mentioned, there's still something in me that thinks they can go to Newcastle. And it is daft because Newcastle have been so good this season. But they're not tried and tested in these situations, Newcastle. Like, they're not used to getting top four football. Like, it sounds so simple. But their players, aside from like Kieran Trippier and maybe a couple of others that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, they're not used to that sort of high pressure situation. And it's that I'm clinging on to that tells me that maybe they'll just stutter and they won't get over the line. They'll stutter to the point whereby we can capitalise. And Brighton's far from easy. We've seen that a million times. Brighton is a very difficult game on Thursday. If they can drop points in that adds even more pressure. If we do our job on Saturday and beat Aston Villa, all of a sudden, St James's Park comes a little bit nervy on Monday night. Leicester go there, pretty much sort of needing to win, last chance saloon sort of territory. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking it into existence, but there is just a little part of me that thinks it will be very, very Liverpool to get top four out of nowhere. Yeah, I want to put a couple of comments up before the football begins. Alex Mann says, "Do you think FSG will have more plans for expanding Anfield anytime soon?" I don't know. Lucas, Rob Davis, of course. Calling me out. Of course. We spoke to Lucas recently for the Bobby Doc, and how did I forget him? The Brazilian scouser, what a fella. I do actually. I do think FSG will have more plans for expanding Anfield. Just because of the way they've conducted themselves. Listen, there's a lot of some negatives to be said about the way FSG have conducted themselves since they've had the football club, but in terms of the commercial side and indeed expanding Anfield, yeah, I don't think they're done. Excuse me, I don't think they're done with the Anfield Road whatsoever. I think there will be more going on. Where that is exactly, I'm not entirely sure. The main stand's obviously boxed. The Cop could probably do with something, maybe, but that's such a historic football stand. To even touch it feels a little bit like blasphemy, but who knows? They may well look to expand it. The King Kenny as well, maybe look to expand that. I was in there recently. It's good. It's impressive. Could you go higher? Could you go further back? Could you add more seats? Who knows? There's definitely scope to get more seats in and around Anfield because, listen, the fan base and the demand for season tickets is most definitely there. And FSG will want to capitalise on that if they can. So, yeah, I think there's definitely room for them to have more plans to expand Anfield. Rob Davis, yeah, can't wait for the Bobby Doc. nor me. I've seen glimpses of it. I've been involved in the making of it, and it is going to be wonderful. Like, it's one of them. So obviously, when we knew that Firmino would be leaving at the end of the season, it hit you hard. Like, it was gutting because he's been such an integral part of everything that we've done under Jurgen Klopp. He has played the lead role in so much of it, and he's been so influential. So to lose a player like that is always gutting. To lose a character like that is always gutting. But then, from my point of view, when I'm sort of having to live his career time and time again, because alongside the doc, there's going to be something else that comes out. It brings it home even more, and it's so weird to think that Saturday's going to be his final game at Anfield. Fingers crossed if he's fit, and then just 8 days later at Southampton, he'll play his last game for Liverpool Football Club. Like, it's gutting. It is gutting. I get it. I get it from his point of view. I also get why Jurgen Klopp wanted to keep him around. Yeah, man, gutting. Rob Davis, I won't bring your comment up, but yeah, I did forget Lucas. Thanks for reminding me. That was poor for me. If the guests this week on Thursday Night Pint are into Liverpool as much as us, they'll be watching their phones and not concentrating on a podcast anyway. So have the game on and have a chat. Listen, that's out my hands, that decision. I get it. I fully understand where you're coming from. That is not a call I'll be making. I could imagine, I mean, they are massive into Liverpool. I can tell you that for free, both of them. Two good people as well. Two really good people. And there's a good balance in terms of they're both into the same thing. So the conversation will go really well. That's what I'm hoping anyway. But yeah, I imagine there'll be a massive overriding sort of eye on what's going on with Newcastle and Brighton. Maybe on the telly in the background. Who knows? Who knows? That's not for me to decide, like I say. And David senses there might be a Ragamuffins appearance on Thursday Night Pint. I'm not going to say anything on that. I'm not getting involved. You're going to be seeing a lot from the Ragamuffins in general now as well. Yeah. Who's doing the game on Saturday? Who's doing the game on Saturday in the main channel? I'm here on socials. I can tell you that, Daz. And it is... Oh, Steve Plunk and Evil are with me. Actually, that's who it is. It's just come to me that second. Yeah. Steve Plunk and Evil will be doing the game. The Firmino send-off game. God, I shouldn't keep saying it. The more I say it, the more gutted I am. I need to stop doing that. Yeah, we had another comment as well. And it's from Rob again, who says, can't watch the game. Does anyone think Inter can give City 100 a game in the final? I think out of the two Milan clubs, I know it sounds simple to say, given that Inter Milan are 2-0 ahead. Out of the two of them, if one of them was going to sort of stand up to be counted against Real Madrid or Man City, it's definitely Inter Milan, in my opinion. Just in terms of the quality they have, in terms of the way they defend, I think Inter Milan would give them the sternest test. Tonali is very much involved in a heated conversation ahead of second half, by the way, as Inzaghi comes back out for second half. But yeah, I think it will be Inter. My fear is that if it is Man City, they'll just blow away whoever it is, quite frankly, whether it be Inter or AC Milan. That's my main concern, which is why so much importance is placed on Real Madrid doing a job. Who would have thought we'd be sat here praying that Real Madrid win a game of football? But that's the world we're in. Second half is underway. AC Milan, I don't think there's been any changes at half time. AC Milan still very much chasing the game, trying to get back into it, having been beaten in the same stadium a week earlier, 2-0 by Inter Milan, of course. And yeah, we're back underway. I will keep you abreast. I know some of you aren't watching the match. I apologise for not telling you exactly what was going on all the time. Wasn't the greatest half football I've ever seen, quite frankly. But there were some moments for AC Milan that they probably should have capitalised on. Yeah, we're underway. Ball's been up in the air for what seems like an eternity. Leao tries to get in behind, but it's overhead, acrobatically cleared by Inter Milan. That is a foul, is it not? No, play on, says the ref. And Inter do play on. Dzeko come out to the left wing. So it's a little chipped ball. It's worked out well, actually. It's on the volume. Blocked. Back heel, and it's going to be cleared. Yeah, it's cleared. Yeah. Donny, I forgot about him. Yeah, you did forget about him. Match. Yeah, so I think, Quadbod said you could match up with the main stand in terms of the King Kenny, I assume we're talking about. Yeah. You could well do. And it's already got the hospo sort of in the centre of it as well, so that would make a lot of sense to do that. Yeah. Sorry, another comment here. John Thomas, hi Dan, thoughts on the new home kit and how much money do you think we have to spend in the summer? I love the new home kit, by the way. Absolute throwback, very clean. Really like it. Yeah, I think that looks like a kit that we could win some stuff in. To be honest, Inter have got a foul free kick given. Thought he was in behind there. Martinez was hassling defenders, and it looked like he'd won the ball for a second, but he hadn't. I see just going long, and it's just food and drink for Inter to deal with. That's been the case so often tonight. Bastoni has just headed everything clear. Yeah. In terms of money to spend, that's such a difficult question. I've seen Ian Doyle was getting chased out of town the other day for saying that it wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool had a net spend of 100 million in the summer. And I think that is sort of the bare minimum. I don't think he was saying we're going to spend 100 million. I think he was saying that sort of as the lowest possible amount of money. Because we will sell some players as well. We've already mentioned Kelleher potentially leaving. Matip could come into that bracket too. Who knows, maybe a couple of others to sort of add to the mix. Nat Phillips could be on the move. We might get a decent chunk of money for him. Reece Williams possibly too. The Fabio Carvalho thing remains up in the air. I personally hope he stays, obviously, but yeah, there's some debate about whether he has a long-term future at the club. So yeah, we will recoup some money as well as sort of invest in ourselves, but we need to be looking at a £250 million transfer window, perhaps. For me, that's 3 midfielders and a centre-back. I don't think we need to go and get a right-back. Not a proper one anyway. Like I said earlier, I think Calvin Ramsey will do that role for us, providing he is fit for next season. I've got no issues with him sticking around as the understudy, if you like. The understudy, if you like, to Trent, although he obviously is now sort of moving very much into midfield. But yeah, I think we need a new centre-half because Virgil van Dijk can't be asked to go time and time again all season. Konate picks up knocks, Inter Milan in behind. He's going to get there. Keeper gets there. Konate picks up knocks and misses games of football. Joe Gomez notoriously will miss games of football. Can't play the entire season. Like I said, Joel Matip, whether he stays or not. If he stays, he misses matches too for injury. So for me, need to go and buy a centre-half this summer, as well as all the midfield work that we need to do, which is a lot of midfield work, quite frankly. It really is. That is probably the maddest question I've had. And I got asked how tall I was before. Dan, what's your favourite Taylor Swift song? And it had better be Anti-Hero. That is a very odd song. I don't like Taylor Swift, I'll be honest. I'm not even going to beat around the bush on that one. I was going to sort of play it out and to talk about how weird a song it is, because I think it's a really weird song. I don't like Taylor Swift. Don't like her. That is a question for somebody else, not me. Maybe Chloe, someone like, maybe ask her. She might have a better answer for you. Ask me about music, by all means. Just not Taylor Swift. Sorry. I apologise. Not my bag. Not my bag one bit. Yeah. Too weird. Football's going on. That is quite aggressive and quite strange. Inter on the attack. They've won the ball back. Martinez gets stopped again, and the ball is cleared. Why is it a weird song? I think it's the... I don't even want to say the words, to be honest. There's a line in it about a baby, and I just find it a bit odd. Like, forgive me, foul. It's Chanaloglu who's not happy. He played for both these, and he played for both Milans. That doesn't happen often. Brozovic is confronting the referee as well. Tonali suggesting it was a high boot. Let me just see. I mean, I think his junior is a little bit late on Chanaloglu, who's rolling around like he has been actually shot. Oh, okay, I see what he's talking about. Martinez with a little naughty one. He goes very high. It's on Thiaw, the centre-half, AC Milan. He sort of ends up in mid-air on top of him, but while he's coming down, he scrapes his boot down him. That's a little bit naughty, that. Gets away with it, but I think he knew what he was doing. I think that's fair to say. Inter had the ball out wide. Lovely little triangle. It's going to get crossed in at some point, perhaps. He's getting stood up at the minute. Comes back out. And players stop because someone's down in the box. Minigan, the keeper, is going berserk. The ref, who's dressed essentially the same as the keeper, is having to deal with a lot of angry footballers right now. Oh, he stood on his foot. He's actually just stood on his foot. Wow. I mean, that's as blatant as it gets. So they're waiting for the cross to come in, and out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, he just stood on his... And AC Milan had the free kick, and that's mad. Sort of mad. Like, why would you do it? How stupid can you be? How stupid can you be? Anyway, let's talk dream summer transfer windows. I want to talk dream summer transfer windows. I've got mine. Let's talk what we like. So I've already said, I think 3 midfielders to compensate for the ones that are going out. And 1, just because we need the quality back in there as well. I think we need 3 very good, proven midfielders and a centre-half. And in terms of names, God, I think I'd like Declan Rice. I really think I'd like Declan Rice. Yeah, I think I'd like Declan Rice. I'd love Manuel Ugarte, actually, over him, but I don't think that's going to happen. All the noises suggest that's not a deal that Liverpool are even looking at. So I'd go Rice as a 6. I would go... I'll come to that question in a minute. I would go... probably McAllister, I think, as one of the 8s. Just about. And, oh, God, he's turned into nowhere there. It's out for a throw-in. AC Milan are trying with all their might. They're making the game as scrappy as possible. I don't know. They're moaning at refs, they're moaning at 4th officials. They're just striving to get way back into it, and it's just not working for them at all. Just not working for them. And the final one in my dream midfield, my dream centre-half would be Grodiel, by the way. Absolute world-class footballer, like amazing. But price-wise, that's probably not realistic, so I probably would go with Jurrien Timber, like I spoke about earlier. But my final midfielder, I need to think about who we've actually been linked with. I like Gravenberch, I do like him. Obviously not Premier League proven as of yet. Berea, yeah. Miles he comes in with, yeah, it's a good shout, Berea. Ryan says Gravenberch, McAllister and Ugarte would be a good window. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I just keep getting put off by the non-Premier League things. And I shouldn't be, because I don't have any issue with signing non-Premier League footballers, but I just think Liverpool are going to try and sign predominantly Premier League footballers this window. Just the feeling I've got and what people have said. I'll address the comment on the screen. Who is an artist that you like that may raise some eyebrows, some others? At the minute, I really like Hosier. Hosier's boss. Wagon Bowman is probably the one that would raise some eyebrows from some others. Now, not human, like not that song at all. But I'm actually into like older music, like Nina Simone, James a little bit. So that'd probably raise eyebrows the most, I guess. I mean, I'm into your standard, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Arctic Monkeys, Kings of Leon, etc. But yeah, probably the one sort of like, yeah, you need Stevie Wonder as well. My God. And of course, Beatles and stuff like that. All the usual favourites. I've just come back. I've scrolled up the comments. I've seen the Taylor Swift one again. I was thinking, surely not again. Surely no one else. Someone else has asked me about Taylor Swift. I wanted to get a comment from John that I need to find. It was asking me about Declan Rice. Let me see if I can find it again. Another free kick. This has been a... Well, there it is. Say again, sorry. What? It's on there. Yeah, cool. Sorry. John, yeah, hi Dan, do you think Declan Rice is worth 120 million? I don't think so. What is your opinion? It's a strange way of sort of answering this, because I actually do think he's worth the sort of 120 million pound mark. I think he's that good a footballer. That's a terrible cross. Good Lord. Edin Dzeko got half a yard. I mean, he should be in the box getting on the end of the cross. He's not actually crossing him. But he just absolutely wellies it behind for a goal kick. Declan Rice, worth 100 million? Yes. 120 might be a stretch. My main thing with this is, and West Ham seem adamant that they're still going to demand 100 million. He's got a year left on his deal. Like, we've let some very good footballers go at Liverpool for nothing in recent years, like Gini Wijnaldum being sort of the case in point in that. Brilliant footballer. We allowed him to run his contract down. He leaves for nothing. Bit of an oversight on Liverpool's behalf. not good business, I think it's fair to say. Are West Ham genuinely going to allow Declan Rice to leave for nothing in 12 months' time? They're not. It's not going to happen. So if they don't get 100 million bids coming in, or sort of the figure they want, whether it be 120, 100, whatever it is, this summer, then it's going to get to, I don't know, end of July, August, when the football comes back around and the transfer deadline comes into view. And surely to God, they're going to start thinking, we've got a bit of a problem here, because he won't sign a new deal. I'm almost certain of that. He's not going to stay at West Ham. We know he wants to leave because he's better than that. Like, no disrespect, he just is. He's going to want Champions League football, etc. So West Ham really going to start turning down bids in August of 60, 70, 80 million. I don't think they are. I don't think they can. Like, obviously, you've got the January window as well, but you're running a huge risk of somebody coming in next January and saying, we'll give you the 120 that you want. Not going to happen. You're running a huge risk next January of somebody coming in saying, we'll give you the 80 that you want, because why would you? You get in for free in 6 months' time. It seems insane to me. And I've thought that for a while. Like, credit to West Ham, on one respect, for sort of sticking to the guns and saying, no, we value this player at this. He's that important to us. Because I get it. He is. He really is that important. And Brighton did it with Caicedo as well. And credit to them for the same reasons. You've got your valuation. He's that important. Brilliant. But there comes to a point whereby, like, it's just business. It's just good business sense to cash in on someone. And I just think West Ham are going to get to that point. I don't know. I take this point here. I'll bring it up now. It's from Steve. Homegrown, which is Declan Rice, of course. It adds millions. It does. And I've no issue with that. Premier League tax, English tax, whatever you want to call it. I've got no issue with that whatsoever. But, like, that only goes to a point. Like, you can add your tax, but also contract. Like, 80 million in August or 0 million, £0 next August. Or not even that. Next July it would be, wouldn't it? Like, West Ham aren't a wealthy enough football club getting Champions League football time in, time again to say no to 80 million, we'll lose him for nothing. This is not what's going to happen. I don't know. I might be wrong. And if I am wrong, you let him leave for free. I'll come back on and say how stupid I look. But I don't know. That makes sense. Yeah. All explained. And listen, somebody else might go and pay that 120 million, 100 million. I've seen a couple of people saying Man United might pay it. I know Arsenal are interested. And I know the Arsenal thing is fascinating, actually, because they obviously want Caicedo as well. So it comes to something when I'm going to say these words, but maybe if Arsenal go and get Caicedo, we should then go for Rice, and vice versa. If Arsenal go and get Rice, maybe we should look at Caicedo, because I think either one of them would be an unbelievable addition to this squad. Like, so good. I think Declan Rice is boss. I really do. I think he's wonderful. I think he's a great footballer. He offers so much. He was good against us the other week. Like, in a game where, obviously, we win the game and we're relatively comfortable in it, he was boss again. And against Man United the other day, he was even better. Like, he was everywhere. Like, we kind of pigeonhole him as a DM who wins tackles and he's a bit of this bulldozer. But he's got so much more than that. Like, he was beating people on the left wing. He was getting to the byline and pulling back crosses. He was looking enough to score, looking enough to assist. Brilliant footballer. And like I say, in terms of ability and sort of ceiling and what he offers, cross comes in, deep goal kick. Still 0-0. Still 2-0 to Inter. Offers loads. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see West Ham holding out. Just don't see it. Is it John Sullivan, that Karen Brady woman, and someone else? That's John Sullivan. He was the writer of Only Fools and Horses. David Sullivan was the owner. Very different people. Both from London, I imagine. Somebody pulls me up on a comment here. That's fine. Listen, my AC Milan Inter Milan knowledge isn't perfect by any stretch of imagination. So, Ordan Bjerk, apologise. Playing for both Inter and AC is not as uncommon as you would think. Zlatan Seedorf, Pirlo, Crespo, Ronaldo, Vieira, Roberto Baggio, Balotelli and Vieira all did, along with 18 other players. I suppose if you share a stadium, then you may as well share footy players while you're at it. Like, I mean, I wonder how many of them players walked back into San Siro having switched allegiances and went to the wrong dressing room. I bet loads of them. Although I will say, I don't know if there's 11 there. There's probably not. And you're struggling for a keeper. But that's some side. Like, that's a 3, 6, 8, 9. It's not a 9. If you got rid of probably Balotelli, that's a good 5-a-side team. You need a keeper, obviously, like I say. That's some team, though. Christian Vieri was boss, wasn't he? Patrick Vieira. God, that takes some beating, 5-a-side wise. There's a little stoppage in play. I think someone's got cramp. Lautaro Martinez is once again. I said before, every time I look up, Giroud is clapping people. Now, every time I look up, Martinez is sort of orchestrating the crowd in chants, and they are responding to him. The Inter fans believe they are heading very much towards the Champions League final, and they might be right. And Thiaw is very much limping off, as I say that, with what looks like cramp. He might be okay to come back on. He's going to get some water. He's jogging again now. Yeah, I think it was just cramp. He'll be fine. Yeah, Steve Ryder, I won't bring it up, but Steve Ryder says they might get close to 100 million. Quite possibly. And if they do, hats off to them. I don't know. I just don't see it. David R, Ward-Prowse will be cheap. He will be cheap. Is cheap always good? Liverpool have had a lot of success buying A, from Southampton, and B, from relegated teams. C, Andy Robertson. C, Gino Wijnaldum. C, Shaqiri. Less so in recent years. But I don't think Ward-Prowse is it. I just don't think he's it. Like, I've been a fan of his. I started alluding to it earlier. I think maybe a season ago, possibly 2 seasons ago, I think he would have been a brilliant signing. I don't know anymore. I don't think he's where we should be looking at all. Very good Premier League footballer. I think he's a footballer that deserves to stay in the Premier League in terms of his ability, but not Liverpool. Not now. I would rather go for Lavia. Genuinely, you're probably going to cost 20 million more, potentially. I don't know what Ward-Prowse's contract situation is off the top of my head, but I would rather go for Lavia just because of the age profile and what we're looking to do in the summer. That'd be mine. That'd be my guess. Yeah, somebody says we have I think it's the Serbian Busquets. Yeah. I do that a lot with the comments. And you also say, though, I'm going to bring the right one this time. You watch. Here we go. Yeah. Žatka. I don't know who he is. I'm only joking. Granit Xhaka is going to go to Leverkusen, sadly. Why is that sadly? Is it sadly because you'll miss him being absolutely nuts in the Premier League and ruining things for Arsenal and being a banker yellow card every week and stuff like that? Or is it sadly because you have some sort of affiliation with Bayer Leverkusen? I want to know. Let me know. But it might be a good opportunity to get Declan. Yeah, I think Arsenal going to want Declan Rice. But will they want Caicedo more? Because you're not going to get both. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense to get both. Few people making the point that Ward-Prowse is a very good footballer, good lad as well, but he's not Champions League quality. And Howdy's David returns by saying, and I'll come to your comment in a minute, actually, Roblox, he would make a great midfielder at Wolves, Palace, etc. Yeah, quite possibly a level above that, to be fair. Sort of the Tottenham sort of place, I'd say. But yeah, I don't see him at Liverpool, quite frankly. I want to bring up this one as well, because this is a conversation I had earlier with Sacha Tavrieri, the Belgian football journalist. City have a chance to close Lavia down. Yeah, I think they have a buyback clause on him, don't they? I think it's £40 million. Inter Milan are making some changes, by the way. Looks like Robin Gosens is going to come on. I didn't see it properly, though. And was that Lukaku coming on as well? Big Rom. I'll just confirm the changes when I get them. Yeah, Dzeko's heading off for the aforementioned Romelu Lukaku. I would tell you, yeah, Lukaku's ready and raring to go by the looks of it. That's one change. Quite cold, actually, in Milan. Like, people have got coats on and stuff. I've been to the San Siro once, by the way. I don't need to tell you, but I will. I went about 8 or 9 years ago, watched the game. It was AC Milan I went to see, actually, against Atalanta. And it was something. But when I went, they said that San Siro was going to get knocked down. So I felt like it was my last chance to go. And this must be at least, I reckon, about 10 years ago. And the San Siro is still very much stood up. And they're still very much playing a game of football in it right now. So I feel like I was lied to. Maybe it was a ploy to get people to go, thinking they had no more opportunities to do so in what is a football coliseum. I think it's fair to say. So I'm glad I went, because I've done it now, but I do feel a little bit betrayed because there was definitely the person I was with. I remember saying like, "Oh, we need to go because we might not get another chance." A decade later, I'm literally sat here watching that football stadium exist. Shame. Isn't he still a Chelsea player, Steve Ryder? Yeah, he is still a Chelsea player. Romelu Lukaku is still a Chelsea player. I was talking about Lavia. Man City have a 40 million buyback clause on Romelu Lavia. Now, it's just whether they trigger it or not, really, I guess. They don't really have a say in where he goes in terms of they can't dictate his next move, unless it, of course, was Man City. So I think there is scope to get a deal done there. Now, you'd probably be tempted to offer the same 40 million, wouldn't you? I don't think you go above that. Like, Southampton might hold out for a little bit more because that's a clause that they have with a different football club. They might want more, but having recently been relegated, I don't know if they'll be able to get more than 40 million for him, quite frankly. I mean, I know you still get parachute payments and what have you, but the money they get for the Premier League far outweighs anything than they would get in terms of parachute payments. So I guess they might need to cash in on a couple of players. And Lavia, I spoke about sort of sellable assets before from an Inter Milan point of view. AC on the attack. No, it's cleared again. I spoke about sellable assets before, and Lavia is probably the one at Southampton, you'd have to say, who I think will actually be okay. Southampton, I think they'll come straight back up because they've got a good sort of young core of a squad there. And I think they'll be decent in the Championship, actually. I think if they keep hold of most of the players, they're going to lose a couple, obviously. But I think they'll bounce straight back, if I'm going to be brutally honest. Yeah. And John O'Connor on Lukaku. No, I don't think there was a commitment from Inter Milan to buy him. I know he scored twice at the weekend in their win. I know he hasn't exactly pulled up trees since he's been back there. And I've seen reports saying they won't commit to buying him, so I believe he will be back at Chelsea if indeed he can find space in the Chelsea players' car park or the changing rooms to return, because they have the biggest squad known to man to be. In AC Milan, it was a cross and it was nodded down, and he reacted quickly, to be fair to the keeper. The cross comes in, he's very nearly gets on the end of it. Keeper rushes out and does well, to be fair. He anticipated it well, because it looked like for a second that AC would finally be able to make it. Olivier Giroud showing us his ribs there, because he's had his shirt ripped. Just heading up to the final 20 minutes. Inter Milan, look, this game should start to get nice and stretched now. There's a chance here. It's hit, it's blocked, and it somehow makes its way back into the goalie's hands. Yeah, this game should start to open up a little bit now, because AC Milan, final 20 minutes of a Champions League semi-final, place in the Champions League final, fading away rapidly, it seems. They need to just throw caution to the wind. Hopefully we see some Divock at some point, because, like I say, they haven't got a lot left in terms of time to turn this around. They're on the attack again here, though. Yeah, on the attack. The interplay is okay, pardon the pun. That's terrible. The interplay is all right, but the final third, they've been guilty of squandering stuff, really. Leao has been the most influential. Just give the ball away there. That is commentator's curse to an absolute T. Lukaku's trying to run away from people. Now, I don't even need to tell you that didn't happen. He got caught quite easily. The fella who caught him was actually twirling a cane as he caught up with him, which is something. John again. That isn't John, but I want to bring up, how is David? Who do I like in tomorrow's game? I don't like anyone playing in tomorrow's game, actually. I don't like any of the footballers involved. How big's a squad? Well, all 22 of them that start, I don't like any of them. And I don't like any of the people on the bench either. But in terms of who might win, God almighty. I think it's probably Man City would probably win, won't they? I really hope Real Madrid win. Obviously, that's just a no-brainer. The minute Man City win the Champions League, that just can't be allowed to happen, quite frankly. It'll be absolutely horrendous for everyone involved. Don't want it. Don't want anything to do with it. Don't want to see it. Don't want to live for it. Horrible, horrible football club. But yeah, I think Man City are the better team, quite frankly. What Real Madrid have going for them is this innate ability to win Champions League football matches. Olivier Giroud looks like he's coming off. If not, he's just had treat. No, he's changing his shirt. Yeah, his aforementioned rip shirt got a little bit too much for the ref's eyes. So he's now topless and he's just putting on a new shirt. I assume it'll have his name on the back. Just find out. Yeah, it does. The days of footballers having to change the shirt and having to wear nameless and numberless tops are long since gone, aren't they? Which is a shame. Big shame. I want to bring that back. So let me press a button there. That's not going away. There we go. Now it's gone. Yeah, I think Man City are a better football team. Inter Milan on the counter attack again with Lukaku. I will finish that point in a second. I promise. Breaks down. God. We would batter both of these, by the way. Both of these. Somebody made the point earlier that Curtis Jones would have buried that Brahim Diaz chance. He would have. I mean, he scored 2 goals last night that were miles better than anything Diaz had to do there. He would have buried it. And the frustrating thing about us this season, and our Champions League run in particular, obviously we end up getting knocked out by them. But had we have topped the group and not been so terrible in Naples and topped our group, we would have had a much simpler run to this stage and indeed the final. Like, don't get me wrong, we weren't at it by any stretch of imagination earlier on the season. We were miles away. But that's what's so frustrating, because we would have been in this semi-final, essentially. And we would have beaten these, especially the way we're playing now, because we're miles better than them. Lukaku into Martinez again. Back to Lukaku. He's got it stuck under his feet. This is a chance. There's a goal. Lautaro Martinez. There's players all over the pitch. He's up on the stand. The keeper's celebrating. Yeah, he climbed the fence. The San Siro goes wild. He's cupped his ears. And I didn't know he was captain. I mean, I've known that all night, but I didn't know prior to tonight he was captain. That's game over. That's 3-0 on aggregate. Forget about it. Start the car. Done. There's going to be no extra time. There's going to be no penalties. Divock Origi couldn't even turn this around right now. Denzel Dumfries is celebrating. The fans are going wild, I think it's fair to say. They're all running down to the front. There's press everywhere. There's people in bibs all over the place. Martinez having to climb back onto the pitch. He still stood on the advertising hoarding celebrating. Took it well, to be fair. Sort of went low and hard to the keeper's near post. Little 1-2 with Lukaku, who looked like he got it stuck. Well, he did get it stuck. He manages to find it. It's not offside. They're not even checking. The keeper. Oh, what do they say? Don't get beaten near post. And he just very much has been. Decent finish, like I say. Keeps it on target. Something Leao couldn't do in the first half from a very similar position. Low, on target, near post. Firmly struck. Keeper gets a hand on it. Can't keep it out. 1-0. AKA 3-0. Game over. Forget about it. I've lost the comment, which is my fault. But yeah, John Sommers asked about Matthias Nunes before, and it's a no from me, quite frankly. I hate to be all X Factor on you, but it's a no from me. I've made the point a few times already during this show that I'd like, and I think we will, go and sign people who play in the Premier League just because of the adaptation period. Yeah, cheers, Aaron, I appreciate that. But I agree with you, John. I don't think he has done anything at Wolves. I don't think he's done enough at Wolves. He had a couple of decent performances, particularly of late. Scores that really good goal. I think it was against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? The volley. Takes that really well. Clearly a footballer with ability, heavily touted during his time in Portugal. We were interested at the time. Pep Guardiola once called him the best footballer in the world. He tells some lies, that fella. Yeah, I won't go into that. But yeah, good player, decent player, but not of the level required for me. Not of the level required for me at all. Much like James Ward-Prowse, not in terms of ability or in terms of style, but in terms of where they're at. We're Liverpool, we want to be challenging. Divock Origi. I mean, of all the times to bring Divock Origi on, I know he is miracle man, extraordinaire, but you've just conceded in what is your away leg. You're now 3-0 down on aggregate, and this is when you decide to throw Divock on. Not even he can turn this around. It's too late. Matthias Nunes, like I say, doesn't cut it for me. And again, I've done this 5 times tonight already. More than happy to sit here in the years. Oh God, that was a chance. he got up above everyone else. I want to see who it was. Free kick got delivered. It was a pretty clear-cut chance, sort of 6-yard box. They're watching the goal again instead. And again, Martinez does take it well. But yeah, Núñez, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm happy for us to go and sign him, and he's brilliant for us. And, you know, I look stupid. Doesn't bother me one little bit. Just don't see it. Don't see it at the level. I think your likes of Mount, your McAllisters, Ugarte, Gravenberch, Declan Rice, Caicedo, Lavia even, potentially are above him in that list of targets. Now, we know the list is huge. We know there's lots of different players. We've already seen a million links in midfielders. I just don't think Matheus Núñez is of the level to make the grade at Liverpool Football Club. Just from what I've seen this season in the Premier League, really, you know, fine, okay footballer. We need better than okay, quite frankly. Yeah, on the point I was making earlier on today, Phil B. Earlier on today? Yeah, how long ago was it? Phil B. Madrid have that Champions League magic. I hope, yes, so do I. We were actually talking upstairs before about the game between the two sides last year and how it was dead and buried. I actually remember going to bed thinking, that's that then. And then, like, game over, forget about it. Oh, here we go, chance to make it 2. Ooh. Tipped over Martinez again. Lautaro Martinez brings the ball down really well, actually. I need to watch it again. He's got a bit of luck under his touch. Anyway, he tries to lob the keeper who'd come rushing out to try and deal with it. And he palms it wide. Barea is fuming with someone. Just watch the effort again. He does go for the dink, and it probably goes in, actually, if the keeper doesn't get up. The fans certainly thought it was. They're having a whale of a time, the fans are. They are loving life. Well, Barea's been booked, and he went to shake the ref's hand. Why did he shake the ref's hand? That was really odd. So he got booked, Nicolo Barea. And he had a bit of a to-do with Finksonali, who's been booked as well, judging by the way the camera's focusing on him. Yeah, he has. And they had a bit of an argument, and then Barea shook his hand. I quite like that little bit of spice. But yeah, he shook his hand straight afterwards. I'm surprised he didn't have another word with him, to be honest. Just on Barea, actually, we should really talk about him. He's been good tonight. He's been tidy. He's been organised. It's been a strange performance for Inter Milan in many senses. I suppose going into a second leg 2-0 up, you know, you don't need to take the game to the opposition. You can afford to sit back and sort of hit them when you get the opportunity to do. And that's what Inter have done, to be fair. And Barea has been at the heart of it. He's been busy. He's been everywhere. He's got tremendous energy, and he's an absolute brilliant technician. Player I really like, a player I'd love to see at Liverpool, quite frankly. But again, I don't know if it happens. I don't know if there's a world whereby that happens this summer. Especially if Inter Milan do go on to win the Champions League, of course. That changes things entirely from their perspective. But yeah, as I was saying, we were talking about that game last year between Real and City, and how I just thought it was game over. I went to bed fuming, quite frankly, thinking that Man City were in the Champions League final. Might be the same tomorrow night. And then obviously Real Madrid and that aforementioned Champions League magic come back and do the business. Yeah, I want to get some comments in because I want to find out if we all think, because it's Italy, Dan. And I want to think, do we all think we're getting top 4? Is what I want to ask. Like I said earlier, I've made my peace with the Europa League. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. I can allow myself to enjoy it. It might actually be the better option in terms of where we're at as a squad. Who knows? Like, we can probably afford the season in it, I'd say. That is a challenge and half, that. The players are surrounding the ref. Is that a yellow? He's got the yellow out. It was high. Someone's been pushed over. You know when you lie down and someone sits behind you and you get pushed? That's just happened. I think it was Brozovic went tumbling. It was Krunic with the foul. It did look like he went in studs up to me. I'll have to watch it again. He's been booked for it. And they're all surrounding the ref. Lukaku is livid. Here we go again. Let's see it. Oh, no, I mean, it's a yellow. It's a yellow. Yeah, he doesn't quite reach the ball. Interplay gets there before him. They're still going on, still arguing. I mean, the keepers are involved, and it's pretty much on the halfway line. All 22 players are having to return back to their rightful positions. Yellow card was actually the right call. It was late. It looked higher on the first replay. Shaking hands with the ref, David, of course. Of course, you're sorry, that's my bad. It moved on so quick. Yeah, weird one that, wasn't it? Yeah, weird one to me. I mean, it might be an Italian thing, but I haven't seen that before. Get booked and just shake his hand. Like someone referenced it. Milesy there says you'd get banned for that in the Premier League. That's seen as sarcasm, taking the mick, not having rightful authority. I don't know. Yeah, man. Yeah, Kevin Vaquero says no top four, but he would love a surprise. Yeah, so would I. And I almost talked myself into believing it was going to happen before, just because Newcastle haven't got much experience of these sort of situations, these sort of run-ins, much like Leicester over the past couple of years when they looked like they were going to get top four and then fell away in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I don't know. I did start to dream a little bit, and something inside me just thinks that Leicester are going to get something on Monday night at St James's Park. I don't know what it is. Nothing about last night suggests that I should have that thought process, but yeah, here we are. Here's me thinking that it's going to happen. Yeah, Lisa Morgan makes a very good point, by the way. I want to get that up. Yeah, how are the Milan teams in the semis? Worst Champions League semi-final ever seen. That might be a stretch. They've probably been worse Champions League finals before, if I'm being brutally honest. But yeah, I take your point. And to the point, like Liverpool, I mean, this could have been us, man. We could have been playing AC Milan, Champions League semi-final. Inter Milan, Champions League semi-final. Any one of them. We'd have had an absolute field day. Big chance, well blocked. Inter Milan are going to score again here, quite frankly. AC Milan, rightfully so, are having to go caution to the wind. Throwing bodies forward. Bavea wins a throw-in and walks away like the most chilled man in the entire city of Milan. Yeah, let's have another look at some comments. Daz Reynolds, is anyone doing a watch-along for Thursday on this channel? Not that I know of. Like I said, I think we might sort of hold off on that for now and see how things develop in terms of people dropping points. See what happens, because listen, if Newcastle drop points on Thursday, then when we do the business on Saturday, of course, and maybe United drop points on the weekend too, I think they play Bournemouth, don't they? Who knows? Then maybe we will have a different conversation about it. But for now, pint will be the only thing happening on Thursday. Actually, doing pint and a watch-along like this would be nightmare. So probably not. What do I think of Ruben Neves? A bit lost a lot of hype over the last couple of years. Yeah, I really like Neves. Not afraid of a worldly goal, including against us, actually. I just don't know. I'd probably compare him to Yuri Tielemans, actually. Very good technically. Great range of passing. You know, again, likes a good long-range strike. But I don't know if he has the engine for Liverpool and a Klopp midfield, necessarily. Especially Tielemans, I'd say, on that. I think Neves has got slightly more of that in his locker. But both of them, I'd have my concerns when we're at full tilt about playing in the engine room. I'm just not quite sure if they've got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point there, actually. Steve Ryder is convinced we're finishing third, by the way. Absolutely convinced. We'd have been drawn against Madrid, though, in all reality, then, yeah, probably. Probably would have got Madrid in the final, to be honest with you. That would have been us. And unfortunately, we all know how that ends. United, yeah, it's an interesting point. I wonder who do we think will drop points? Like, if we are going to get fourth place or even third, like Steve Ryder's convinced about, who's going to be the one to drop out? Like, United have got 2 home games left. One of them's Fulham, and you kind of fancy them to win at home because their home form's pretty good. Newcastle haven't got much history with this sort of thing, and they play Chelsea, of course, as well. Chelsea got a big hand to play in this. They play United too. I don't know. I think if it's going to be anyone, for me, it'll be Newcastle. I do believe that. They had an amazing season. You know, absolutely did not expect them to be anywhere near fourth. I thought they'd improve on last year. I thought they'd get better. Just wasn't sure that they'd, Steve Ryder both, wasn't sure that they'd do anything like what they've done, quite frankly. And huge, Eddie Howe's done an amazing job there. Or should I say Jason Tindall, the main man at Newcastle, has done an amazing job there. Yeah. If anyone's seen or hasn't seen that Twitter account that specifies that Jason Tindall is very much the star of the Newcastle show. Go and check it out. It's a joy to watch. Good looking bloke, to be fair. He's a good looking bloke. We're not going to get into that topic again because we all know how it ends for me in particular. David R says Newcastle have a harder run in. Brighton, Chelsea, Leicester. Yeah, probably Brighton game's really tough. Brighton are a brilliant side. They could easily take points off them on Thursday night. Leicester, I said before, last chance saloon for them. Who knows? Big chance for AC. No, Divock Origi hasn't had a kick since he came on. I'm extremely disappointed. Inter on the counter, but AC winning back this game. How long we got left? Minutes left. Inter Milan are going to be in the Champions League final, everyone. Yeah, and United have Bournemouth, Fulham and Chelsea. I don't know if they've got the harder run in Newcastle. I don't know about that. They're very even, them. I mean, Bournemouth safe? Are they on the beach? Are they not? That's probably the big question there. Fulham, they've already shown that they're not on the beach. They've still got plenty to play for, and they're going to want revenge against United. I think Mitrovic especially is going to want to turn up and do something against them. So I'm not sure. Who has the hardest running out of those two. I think they're about the same. And which is why I probably think that Newcastle are more likely to slip up, just because they're not coursing distance to this sort of thing. United have got your Casemiros as well, whatever we think of them. And I actually don't think they're a very good football team, to be honest. But they have Casemiro. John O'Connor, I had no idea Watchalong was going on. I mean, I have referenced the game of football every now and then, in my defence. And also in my defence, it's not been the greatest game of football I've ever seen. And in my further defence, Your Honour, it's AC Milan against Inter Milan in a Champions League final, semi-final rather. And it's game over. It's about to be game over. And I'm not sure anyone's that bothered in the stadium, let alone me watching on as a Liverpool fan from Hunts Cross. The fans, there was moments earlier on whereby they were up for it and buzzing. I mean, after the goal, obviously, they all went wild. And Latoro, there's got to be a... no, I thought he was chasing after him to whack him then. I thought it was about to get really interesting, but unfortunately not. The stadium just isn't having it at all. It's odd. I seen there was an AC Milan fan in here earlier on saying he was extremely disappointed, and rightfully so. But I think sort of cold light a day, given the opening to the first leg you had and the chances you've missed tonight, I think you probably have to accept that it's a fair outcome. And Inter have probably just been the better team. I mean, who knows what your Ultras will do after this. I mean, they weren't happy when you got beat by Spezia at the weekend, let alone getting knocked out by Champions League semi-final by your fiercest, most localist rivals. Romelu Lukaku's on the charge again. He's done well. He's kept possession. We're about to enter stoppage time. Don't quite know how long's left yet. But Inter Milan will be waiting for either Real Madrid or Manchester City in the Champions League final. So let's go through some final comments before I say goodnight. It's been a pleasure, by the way, everyone. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully I've made some sense at some point. We've tried to talk about some Liverpool topics. I think I've made some points on some things. Kieran Keller, for instance, 15 million, bare minimum. Come on, Brentford. Sort your shit out. Yeah, Liverpool might sign Jurriën Timber. Liverpool are interested in Romeo Lavia. I'm not interested in James Ward-Prowse or Matthias Nunes. I don't think Declan Rice is going to get sold for 100 million. They're sort of the key bullet points if you want to take away from this show. And Inter Milan are going to be in the Champions League final. Yeah. Steve Ryder, what's he saying? Let's hope. Sorry, I've got a different chat. Let's hope the boss is not watching Dan Club. I'm not watching the footy either. I'm just tapping to you. Well, I mean, I think we know as a company and a team that I'm not going to be fully concentrating on the football. We're here for Liverpool. Look at the background. Look at my arm. Liverpool title. I'm going to reference what's going on in the footy every now and then because, it's happening. And that's why I'm sat here, essentially. But also, I'm here to talk Liverpool. Cross comes in, clawed away, and it's Lukaku again. Wearing number 90. Is that how many million Chelsea overpaid for him? That was good. I enjoyed Cross comes in. Could be another goal for Inter. Doing this, Lukaku again. He strikes. Oh, was he at the post or the keeper? Is it one of them? Bounce back out anyway. It's going to be a volley for it. Oh, God. See that commentary, Steve Ryden? There's you saying I'm not watching the footy. That was. I'd say Martin Tyler eat your heart out, but we all know it hit the keeper, that first effort. We all know that was far more enthusiastic than anything he's got to offer these days. And that volley was horrendous as well. Steve Ryder, you are not letting this drop. You are not letting this drop. Are we finishing third? Biggest bullet point. No, Steve Ryder. We're not. We might finish fourth. We might finish fifth. We're into... Oh, that's it. Game over. Full time. No, it's not. They're just celebrating. That's my fault. That's how much attention I'm paying. The manager's just shaking hands and they're all clapping each other and hugging and doing Italian cheek kisses. Cross comes in from AC. It's going to be a corner, I think, to AC Milan. Yeah. Let's have a Divock Origi goal to sign off with. Why not? He's in the box. He has literally not kicked the footy since he came on. And I know I've not paid much attention to this football match, but I can tell you he has not kicked the ball. Let me tell you right now. Thanks, Milesy, as well. Thank you very much. Cross comes in. Oh, it's headed clear. Waiting for the whistle now. Oh, that is abysmal. That is abysmal. Fikayo Tomori, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, we're talking seconds left, and it's 3-0 on aggregate. Like, I know it doesn't mean anything. The coaches are well and truly celebrating, everyone's hugging. That's it. The whistle has this time gone, and Berea is in tears with Martinez. Full tears as well. Yeah, full tears. Yeah, that's that. Peter Connor, I'll just wrap up with some final comments. Peter Connor, yes, there is a watch-along tomorrow. Hopefully a more entertaining game than the one I have just endured. Real Madrid, Man City. Chloe will be sat in this very seat, talking a little bit of Liverpool, probably talking more about the footy because it might be more interesting. That's evenly poised, that game. This one wasn't really, if we're going to be dead honest about it. Yes, watch along tomorrow. Chloe will be here. Like I said, I'll run through our bullet points a little bit. Just one more time for you. Inter Milan, into Champions League semi-final. Inter, that was too many Inters. Inter Milan not into the Champions League semi-final. They will wait the winners of Real Madrid and Man City tomorrow night, which you can watch right here on Redmen TV 2. Of course, please make sure you head over to our socials to check out our end-of-season party, which is happening on Friday at Hotel Anfield. I will be there. Everyone else will be there. You can see how tall I am in person, and you can see how bad looking I am in person as well. I might not be wearing shorts because it's a relatively formal do, but if it's sunny, I might wear shorts anyway because I'm a happier person in shorts. Also, Liverpool will not sell Keller for 15 million. We need to buy some midfielders. Yeah, I think that's it. Head over to Redmen Plus for all that boss stuff. I'm there a lot. I talk a lot more sensibly than what I've done tonight. But yeah, I thank you very much, everyone, for helping out. Howdy is David. One comment. I say one comment before we go, but you know what I'm like. I've done it before. Berea crying is very Italian, very Serie A. Probably has the third part of an opera echoing around his mind right now. I imagine there's a lot of opera going to get played. I wonder how they celebrate in Milan. Giroud is also in tears, by the way. Proper tears. Proper tears. The AC Milan players are heading over to their fans in one portion of the ground and clapping them whilst the entire rest of the ground celebrates, bounces up and down. Tonali's in tears. Rafael Leao is ruining that miss. Still, he's wondering how he missed the target. But yeah, Inter Milan, happy. I think it's fair to say. Yeah, I'm happy for them, I guess. I've no allegiances either way. They're probably the team that will give Real Madrid or AC Milan the sterner test. So that's fine by me. I can live with that. And if I see Martinez lifting the Champions League trophy in a few weeks' time, boss. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much. And I appreciate everyone getting involved. I really do. I appreciate David Arce and Dan Neville, our best people on Redmen as well. That's really nice. Milesy, howdy is David, Quadbard, Nigel, Steve Ryder, everybody else, like genuinely thank you for commenting tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I do hope I've made some sense. I hope I've spoken about Liverpool just enough and the football just enough as well. I tried my level best. Peter Connor, thank you very much as well. Steve Ryder, I will see you at the weekend, and hopefully I'll see some more of you at the weekend. Our end of season party at Hotel Anfield, Friday night. Please get down there if you can. The Bobby mural might be by there as well, but I'm not telling you anything. There's going to be some boss stuff coming up on Redmen Plus, including my chat about Romeo Lavia. Tomorrow will be on Redmen Plus. Journo Insight on Thursday with Neil Jones as well. Head over there. Use code YEAR if you haven't already. And you can sign up as a club captain yearly subscriber for half price. Now that is a no-brainer. An absolute no-brainer. But yeah, head to the socials. Find our tickets for the party. Please come and join us on Friday night. Like I say, hope I've spoken just about enough sense for you all. It's been a pleasure. It really has. I'll see you all again soon. Take it easy.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Did you know that if you become a Club Legend subscriber, that's a yearly Club Legend on redmenplus.com, we will send you 2 instant free merch codes to get yourself some decent clobber from Redmen merch. So it's a no-brainer. Go and do it.